years and lost both. Unfortunately, 98, they lost to this very same Ram team. For more on the Class A title game, let's send it upstairs to the men who will call the action, Rob King and Sam LaFazzo. Hey, guys.
Thank you very much, Dan. I'll tell you what, when you look at these two teams, these two programs, these two towns, familiarity, I think, is one of the things that's going to be a theme throughout this day-to-day, Sam, as far as this Class A game is concerned. And the fact that both of these teams are in the same conference, the Big Eight, we know it's going to be hard-hitting, aggressive football.
It sure is. It's not going to be any different than it was 2 years ago, as it is every time that Monaca and Rochester plays. It's going to be a battle of the running games and who comes out with the better running game.
You talk about the running game, and Monaca has a real two-headed monster. Senior Kirby Griffin and junior Jermaine Moy, who has really come on in the playoffs, rushed for 145 yards last week against Greensburg Central Catholic.
Yes, Jermaine Moy is exactly the same kind of runner as his dad was at Beaver Falls. For the whole season, he has attempted 156 yards for 156 attempts for 971 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 6.2 yards per game. And Eric McPhillamy has rushed for 183 attempts, 1,668 yards, 21 TDs for 9.1 average.
And McPhillamy, of course, is the big star for Monaca. Now, he stepped in when Joel McDonald, their normal feature back, was injured early in the season. McPhillamy has been a real find for Coach Mark Lyons.
Yes, what happened in the fourth game of the season, they wanted to split the running up between McPhillamy, McDonald, and then when Joel went down, the burden came on Eric.
I'll tell you what, we talked about familiarity. First of all, the coaches are related. They are first cousins, Gene Matsuk for Rochester, and also Mark Lyons for Monaca. Also, the fact that I think a lot of people know this, the communities are separated only by the width of the Ohio River, maybe a half a mile or so. And the bridge goes to, the name of the bridge goes to the winner of the game. Right now it is the Rochester-Monaca Bridge. We talked to Mark Lyons about that. He said he doesn't care anything about the bridge. He just wants the trophy.
On Tuesday night, he tried to avoid that question every time we asked him. He said, we don't worry about the bridge name. We just care about the gold.
And it should be a terrific game. It was a very good game when these two teams met during the regular season. Rochester won that game. Monaca looking for some revenge. We'll see if they get it. The Class A championships coming up in just a moment. The kickoff just seconds away. We'll be back with more from Three Rivers Stadium right after this.
Simple and accessible plans for everybody. That's Verizon Wireless. And right now, there's never been a better time to join in, because people coast to coast are discovering single rate. On plans as low as $35 a month, get 150 minutes with no long distance or roaming charges. Then get connected with an AudioVox 9000 phone. Hurry into a Verizon Wireless location near you or call 1-888-466-4646. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
We love to see you smile.
At McDonald's, we know what makes you smile. It's great tasting burgers, chicken sandwiches, and don't forget, America's favorite fries.
Great news, cheeseburger lovers. Right now, McDonald's cheeseburgers are only 48 cents each every Sunday and Wednesday. And I'll serve them up hot, fresh, right to order.
We love to see you smile.
Cheeseburgers 48 cents every Sunday and Wednesday.
The U.S. Department of Energy is predicting that this could be the most expensive winter for heating bills in 15 years. Hi, I'm Ron Orty from Traco. We understand how skyrocketing fuel costs can impact you, especially when you have old drafty windows in your home. That's why Traco has designed the Protection Plus window system, the window that protects you from the high cost of fuel bills. It's not too late to fight back. Call your local Traco dealer now and learn more about this exciting energy-saving offer.
Your business can look better and run much more smoothly than it does right now. How? Because there's a better way to buy office furniture. We've opened a state-of-the-art showroom called Workplace Furnishings by Mount Lebanon Office Equipment, featuring the absolute best values in office furniture from Hahn and other fine brands at our famous low discount prices. Come in, look around, and get some ideas. Our interior design professionals will be glad to do a 3D drawing of your office space. It's new, it's exciting, it's Workplace Furnishings by Mount Lebanon Office Equipment, Banksville Road.
The WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net are brought to you by McDonald's. We love to see you smile. And by Verizon Wireless. Join in. Rochester won the toss, elected to receive. Matt Harley set to kick off for Monaca. Monaca in the white and Rochester in the dark uniforms. And we are set and ready to get underway. Moy and Griffin back deep. low line drive kick, and that's going to be taken by Griffin. Picks it up about the 22-yard line. Heading straight up the middle, he's got a seam, and he bursts out to the 45-yard line, where Rochester will take over 1st and 10.
Rob, I think the game's going to be determined here in the trenches. Monaca has 8 seniors on the team, and 6 of them play on the offensive line, and I think that's where you're going to see the difference in the game.
We talked to Coach Matsuk earlier in the week, asked him if there's any differences. He said he thought maybe Monaca a little quicker, maybe Rochester's a little quicker, maybe Monaca's a little bit bigger, but pretty much similar teams. Now they come out in a T, 2 tight ends set, hand off to Griffin going out the left side, got a seam, burst outside, cuts back across the middle, now across the grade, and he's off to the races. Kirby Griffin is going to go 55 yards for the touchdown on the opening play of the game, and Rochester leads 6-0.
And I think that's exactly what Coach Lyons did not want to happen. He said that the difference was that Rochester was a little quicker, and I think you saw that quickness right there.
Well, Kirby Griffin, as we take a look at it, gets a good hole here on the left side, and then he takes over from there.
Yes, he did.
Cutting back across the grain and going 55 yards for the touchdown to give Rochester a 6-0 lead. Now, neither of these teams automatic when it comes to extra points. And it looks like Javon Bradley, who is a transfer from Long Beach, California, is going to be the one kicking the extra point. Rochester tries to go up 7-0. Snap is low, it's up, and the kick is up and good. And Rochester leads 7-0. Just 18 seconds into this game, and let's take another look at the run here.
He's running left. Nobody touches him in the hole. Great feet. He cuts back across the grain. I think there's only one person that touched him in the entire 55 yards.
One play, 55-yard scoring drive.
There's the touch right there.
That's a nice cut back across the grain, and then nobody back. Well, both of these teams, I think we'll see, Sam, are going to put a lot of pressure on the line of scrimmage. If you can burst through and get yourself into the secondary, it becomes a foot race.
Yes, it does, and that's exactly Rochester's game right there. And Monaca has to make sure that they stop that point where he's going to get into the secondary.
Bradley's going to kick off now. 7-0 Rochester. McPhillamy is deep for the Indians. In case you're just joining us, Monaca in the white, Rochester in the blue. This is our second kickoff of the game as we see a squib kick. I don't think that was meant to be an onside kick. I think it was just this kick goes out of bounds to the 40, and that is where Monaca is going to take over, trailing 7-0 after a 55-yard touchdown run by Kirby Griffin.
Well, we talked about it on Tuesday night, Rob, is the fact that both of these programs right here do not have a soccer program within the 2 schools. They're so small that they can't field another soccer program. And I think that what's happening here with the other teams in the AA and AAA and Quad A, they rely on soccer kids to do their kicking for them, and Monaca and Rochester do not have that.
We did see Bradley at least get the extra point, and now coming out with a wing-back formation, 2 backs. Behind quarterback Matt Hartley, hands off up the middle. That is Billy Marshall. And Marshall runs for about 2 yards. Stopped on the play by Kirby Griffin. And we're going to have a chance at least to set the lineups, which we weren't able to do when Rochester had the ball. McPhillamy, Billy Marshall, and Dan Egan. The running backs, Craig Bloom, whose twin brother Keith also plays on the team. C.J. Corcoran are the tight ends. Tommy Kaminsky, Josh Antonopoulos, Adam Olshansky, David McLaughlin, and Tommy's fraternal twin, Tony, their senior bookend tackles. Hartley with a pitch out to McPhillamy. McPhillamy trying to go around right end, and he is gang tackled. Griffin was there, so was Moy on the stop, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 9, and 3rd and long is not a situation either team wants to be in here.
Absolutely not. Monaca has only passed 98 times the entire season. And Matt has only passed for 803 yards, no touchdowns. So they don't want to be in a situation with 3rd and long.
And you take a look at the defense, and that set of linebackers very good. And there's Horton, Moy, and Boyd in the secondary as well. And we'll get into the defense a little bit as the game progresses as well. In motion now, Hartley back to pass. Looking, and passing complete, and he finds Bloom, and that is Craig Bloom. We mentioned his twin brother Keith also plays on the team, also a tight end. And Hartley able to complete that pass, good for 11 yards and a first down.
That was a beautifully executed pass by Matt. He just stood in the pocket. He looked at his first read. He went down to the second read. He found him over the middle exactly for a first down.
And so they keep the chains moving, which is important. I think it's obvious that Rochester has quick strike capabilities, and so Monaca wants to keep their hands on the ball as much as they can. Wing power left, and again, a handoff off the middle. Marshall bounces out of there and is able to pick up 9 yards. Beg your pardon, that is McPhillamy on the run. And that'll bring up a 2nd and 1 situation.
Very good feed. He ran into the pile right over the middle. He bounced it to the left and picked up about 9.5 yards.
And take another look at it here, McPhillamy. Hole is up the middle and it's stopped up, but does a good job of keeping the feet moving and picking up 9 yards on the play. That sets up a 2nd and 1 situation. Full house packed field. Hartley with a quick pitch out to McPhillamy. McPhillamy looking to turn the corner and is able to do so and pick up another 5 or 6 yards.
Yes, and that was really surprising because Rochester's playing a variation of a 4 defense, which gives them the ability of having 4 linebackers outside. Their team speed is just awesome. And they did get outside that time, and he cut it back in for another first down.
And David McLaughlin, the tackle, doing a nice job of being able to give him a lane to cut back behind there as well.
And I think Monaca's mental attitude is that the offense is their best defense. When they have the ball, Rochester can't score.
Ball on the 33-yard line now, power eye to the right. And it's a quick handoff up the middle and nothing doing. And the stop there by James Sadler. Boy, Sadler played a terrific game against Greensburg Central Catholic. Picked off a pass, got himself a sack, forced a fumble. He is a really good-looking player, just a sophomore.
And that's, and to have the sophomore being in there and being a part of your defense like that, that allows them to continue to have the same kind of team year in and year in. You just retool every year with the kids that you need to fill in.
Wings to the left side now and fake up the middle. They're going for the pass and hit as he throws, and it'll fall incomplete. Well, Hartley looked like he might have had somebody open. He had Bloom going deep, and he also had C.J. Corkin going deep. They were clearly going for the home run ball there.
Yes, they were trying to do crossing patterns in opposite corners, and it just took too long to develop, and the rush got to him.
And Kirby Griffin might be their best player on offense and is definitely their best player on defense. A terrific player. Senior played here in '98 in that championship game as a sophomore, was a starter, scored a touchdown in that game. Now the quick pitch out to McPhillamy. McPhillamy tries to turn the corner, bounces off one tackler, and will pick up about 4 yards, and that is going to set up a 4th and about 6 yards as Vince Moakley makes the stop for Rochester. And people wondering, hey, geez, why would they run the ball on 3rd and 9? It's because this is 2-down territory for them.
Yes, this is 4-down territory.
I beg your pardon, 2 from 3rd down on. But yes, you're right. It's they're clearly going to be going for it in these kinds of situations on 4th down.
Absolutely.
Hartley brings the team out. Has a couple receivers split down here to the bottom of your screen. In fact, has 3. They're going to go out in the pattern. Hartley looking, and again, his arm is hit as he tries to throw. Maybe that's taking a little too long to develop.
Yes, they're trying to run too deep of patterns, and Rochester defensively is so quick that they cannot withstand that pressure for those long patterns.
And you can see Hartley hit as he tried to throw there, and that was Nate Waldron, who's just a freshman. Now, Coach Matzek was telling us that he's had other talented players before, but even he's only been there for 1 year, but under his brother Dan, 14 years prior to that, they'd never brought a freshman up. Nate Waldron was the first.
Well, when you have limited numbers like Rochester and Monaca do, it's almost an impossibility to go through seasons without starting freshmen.
Well, we haven't had a chance to set Rochester's starting offense because they scored in one play their last time, and this is what it looks like. Moy, who just had that carry there, Griffin, Waldron, Lilja, and Boyd. And then along the offensive line, Manarino, Woods, Sadler, Kinlock, and Pfeffer. And Kinlock and Pfeffer, a couple big guys up there. So it's not as if there's a huge size advantage one way or the other. on the Rochester Monaca team. And now Adam Moore takes his team out. Got an I formation, hands the ball to Griffin, and Griffin is hit hard, drilled, and knocked down for no gain on the play as Dan Egan came up and made a big stick.
And the success of that defensive play right there is Monaca's defensive down people got tremendous pressure, closed the hole, and if you're going to stop Rochester, that's what you have to do. You have to stop them before they get started.
Matsuk sending the play in and take another look at it. And that's a good job by Kaminsky as well. That's Tony Kaminsky, number 75. He is the larger of the two. They're twins, and they're 60 pounds apart.
Somebody had to do the I get first dibs on the food.
There's more back to pass, and it is completed, and this is going to be very, very close to a first down. I don't think he has it, and we'll see if they're going to measure as Mike Boyd, one of the two-way players. No, it's going to be short of a first down, 4th and about a foot from their own 39-yard line, and this will be an interesting call as to whether they're going to go for it or punt the ball.
I know the fans want them to go for it, but this is just entirely too early in the game to make a mistake. Anything could happen. I would definitely, if I was Coach Matsuk, not go for the first down here. I would punt the ball away, get good field position, and just let the game play out.
Matsuk wants a measurement, and they're going to bring it out here. Looks like it's about, I'd say a foot or so short.
Yes, it looks like half the football.
Now, Gene told us that he had actually considered not taking the job when his brother Dan retired after 14 years. He thought about packing it up, and he didn't want, there's been a lot of pressure, obviously, in following his brother there. He had a very successful program, and he was happy to go along for the ride, and he knew the expectations for the program were going to be great. He comes out of the chute this year, loses 2 out of his first 3 games, and I'm sure he was feeling pressure then, but now they've ripped off 9 straight wins, and it's clear that he's got the program continuing in the same direction that his brother began.
Well, I think that what happened there is he wanted to make sure that the stability of the program was going to continue after having stayed there for 14 years. He wanted that transition to take place.
Moy now back to punt and gets off a high kick, and it will go out of bounds at about the 38-yard line, where Monaca will take over 1st and 10. Rochester leads 7-0. We'll be back with more from the Class A championships at Three River Stadium right after.
Pride. It's about dedication and commitment and believing in what you do. At Summit Academy, we believe in our mission of shaping bright young students into successful young men, and we are currently looking for qualified individuals who share our dedication and commitment. If you're interested in a rewarding career you can take pride in, contact the Human Resource Department at 412-885-5200. Summit Academy, where pride still matters.
I started selling cars when I was 21 years old, and I learned at an early age that every customer is a valued customer. That's how I run my business. At John Howard's, you'll never forget what it's like to buy a car. For most people, it's a big decision. We don't hesitate to go the extra mile for the customer. We're not happy unless you are. Are John Howard's customers satisfied? Just ask them. We're easy to find.
John Howard's, with 3 convenient locations to serve you.
Welcome back to Three River Stadium. Rochester leading Monaca 7-0 on a 55-yard touchdown run by Kirby Griffin on the very first play of the game. I'll tell you what, we talked to Coach Lyons and Matsuk earlier in the week. Coach Matsuk said his team is peaking at the right time. He said he thinks they're playing their best football of the season right now, and clearly they came out in that first run and showed us something. Power to the right, but the play comes back to the left. McPhillamy tries to cut back there, picked up maybe a yard and a half to bring up 2nd and a long 8.
Well, what's happening here is that Rochester's defensive down people are putting the pressure on too, and they're establishing the gaps and causing him to move his feet in the backfield, and he's not taking advantage of what he can do best, and that's to get into the secondary and make a couple moves.
Brings up a 2nd and 8 situation. Harley trotting back on the field. Marshall checks out. Bring him to the line of scrimmage. Has a couple ends.
Three receivers.
Yeah, 3 receivers.
To the left.
1 in the slot, Corkin and Bloom. And it's a handoff up the middle. And it's McPhillamy again, and he's going to pick up maybe another half a yard to a yard. Boy, those yards are tough to come by out there.
If you're going to try to go up the middle against a 4 defense, you got the 2 defensive tackles covering the guards, and you got the linebackers sitting right behind you. And those linebackers have so much speed and reaction time that if you don't get through there in a burst, you're not going to be able to maintain any kind of yardage.
The linebackers are really, really good. We talked about Jimmy Sadler, who had such a good game last week. Javon Bradley, number 28. And Kirby Griffin, number 23. They've got 3 excellent, excellent linebackers. Now 3 receivers split to the right for Harley. Drops back to pass. Looking. Throws over the middle. Deflected and intercepted by Jermaine Moy. Moy had 2 picks last week against Greensburg Central Catholic, and he makes a diving interception here at the 46-yard line on a tip pass, and that is where Rochester will take over with good field position.
And what happens on the 4 is that they have the 8 people in the box. They're putting pressure on the quarterback. And the 3 defensive backs are just doing what they do naturally, and that's being athletes, and he just reacted to the ball. Big series here.
Rochester comes out, full house backfield. Bradley in there with Griffin as well. That's the play they scored the touchdown on, and this time it's strung out pretty well. Griffin tries to cut back, and he's cut down to size, and will lose 3 or 4 yards on the play as David McLaughlin led the charge there defensively for Monaca.
Yes, and I think that first play that he broke for 55 yards, it was something that, because of the excitement in the game, they just caught him a little bit napping there, and the pressure that they showed on that play, it was exactly the same play that they had the first time for the touchdown.
2nd and 14. Moore brings the team out. This time we have Griffin in a slot. Actually lined up as a tight end. Quick pitch to Moy, and Moy is met again, and he'll lose a couple more yards.
Those 2 defensive people, the tackle in the end and the linebacker on the right side of Monaca, were in the backfield 4 yards and stopped that play before he ever got his feet moving forward.
Keith Bloom. Now Bloom is a twin brother we mentioned with Craig Bloom. They're both sophomores. These guys look alike. They're both 6'4", 190 pounds. They're much more what you'd expect of twins than the Kaminsky brothers, who we mentioned are 60 pounds apart.
They look like bookends.
Said they sometimes sneak into the other guy's class. As long as they don't do that with their girlfriends.
Here comes 3 wide receivers to the right.
Moore back to pass. Pressure from the backside, and he is brought down, and it's Bloom again.
And Rob, you can see the patterns developing here. They're trying to throw 15, 20-yard passes, and the quarterbacks, as soon as they set their feet, they don't have that kind of time to wait for those patterns to develop.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the Monaca defense rose to the challenge. As we mentioned, that Keith Bloom comes in there with a sack to the backside. So after the interception by Moy, Rochester goes 3 plays and loses 11 yards, and it is now 4th and 21.
And this is going to be excellent field position for Monaca. Need to field the ball.
McPhillamy dropped it, and it chases it out of bounds at about the 36-yard line, and that's where Monaca will take over.
And Monaca is going to start as almost exactly in the same spot, field position-wise, as they started in the last series.
Let's head down to the sidelines now, where Billy Osborne joins us. Billy?
Rob, thank you. You know, this is the battle of the bridge. This is a rivalry that goes back many, many years, and Rochester's pretty much owned this rivalry the last 5 games, winning 5 straight over Monaca. And they talked to Mark Lyons before the game, and he says, yes, we lost the battle of the bridge. We don't care about that. We want to win today, win the goal here.
Quick pitch out to the right side. Thank you very much, Billy. And hard hit after a pickup of 6, maybe 7, 8 yards now.
And I think what's happening with Monaca is that they, in the first 3 series, they've tried to test the middle of the Rochester defense. They couldn't go anywhere, so now what they're doing is probing the outside, see whether they can break one of their backs. And that was a great run by McPhillamy.
Yeah, actually, I believe that was Kevin Miller who got the run. The sophomore came in, got the quick pitch there, picked up about 7 yards. He knows a little something about this rivalry, having coached the Monaca Indians to the WPIAL championship in '75, huh?
Well, what happens is I not only coached there, but I grew up there. I went to high school there. And here's how far back the tradition goes. They're using the same huddle now as what they did when Larry Bruno was a football coach at Monaca. He created that fan huddle. And that was back in the 50s, and they're still using the fan huddle. So tradition is tradition, and that's why Monaca and Rochester are always here, is because of that tradition.
Harley calling timeout there. And you look at that stretch of 75 and then 82 and then 85 again. The 3 WPIAL championships for Monaca. Rochester won one back in the 20s and had a long drought and won 3 of them in the 90s. So these are 2 programs that have had success and recent success on the football field.
They have tremendous success, and we started off the segment saying that they are very similar in familiarity of the 2 schools. What we forgot to add was the last part of that. Familiarity breeds contempt. And on the football field, and as far as the athletics in both Rochester and Monaca, they have tremendous contempt for each other until the game is over.
One of the things that has impressed me with watching these 2 teams and watching tape of the 2 teams as well is how hard they play.
Yeah.
This is hard to the whistle football from both teams. Hard, smacky in the mouth kind of football. Quick pitch out to McPhillamy. McPhillamy cuts back, gets the first down and 20 more. An extra additional 5 or 6 yards on the end of that run as Javon Bradley has to come over from the middle linebacker spot to make the stop.
Well, what happens here is they're using that quick pitch, and Rochester defense, they're there, except that the fact that they're a little bit too quick, and then when he gets the cutback, there's nobody there, and then the linebacker coming over to scrape makes the tackle.
You see Sadler there with a little extra shove. That's exactly what we're talking about. To the whistle. They're out there. They're going to hit you. They enjoy it. Egan bounces out, and he smacked pretty hard, but spins off of Mike Boyd and picks up an extra yard or 2. Pickup of about 4 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 6 from the 43-yard line.
And I think Monaca, what they have to do is doing exactly what they're doing right now. They only want to make 3-4 yards a clip, and then eventually what's going to happen is they're going to wear the defense down, and they're going to spring a big one also.
And so that 55-yard touchdown run by Kirby Griffin standing up right now as Rochester leads Monaca 7-0. You're watching the Class A WPIAL Championships on Fox Sports Net Pittsburgh.
Finally, a real sports radio station has slammed into the Berg. Sports Radio 970 AM is the only place to hear every Steelers and Penguins game live. Plus, Scott Paulson.
Good afternoon, everybody!
Jim Rowe.
Back in Pittsburgh by popular demand.
Turn your head and cough, Pittsburgh. We need to make sure you're in shape for this much sports. Sports Radio 970 AM, the Berg.
Saturday for 9 hours only. Every new Chevy up to $5,800 off. Buy any $98 a month for half a year. Every new Chevy car, truck, minivan, even sport utility price slash. Up to $5,800 off. Buy any new Chevy just $98 a month for the first 6 months. Do this to avoid disruptions to other dealers. Prices cannot be advertised, but every sell-off price posted. Saturday for 9 hours only at Century 3 Chevrolet.
Century 3 Chevrolet. Loving Chevrolet Pittsburgh.
Minutes from the mall. Our competition has this knack of advertising a very low price in the newspaper, and they draw you in. And when they get you into the location, they say, by the way, valve, balance, scrap tire, and road hazard is going to be another $17 to $20 per tire, and that $40 tire, before your eyes, turns into a $60 tire, when in fact, for the same quality tire, you could have received and saved $5 or $6 or $7 at the Flynn's EW Tire locations in Pittsburgh.
SportsBeat has the Steelers covered.
Oh, goodness!
Monday, a complete recap of the game. And Tuesday, we break down Bill Cowher's press conference. SportsBeat, weeknights on Fox Sports Net, presented by Verizon.
Now, Pittsburgh has a nightly sports report dedicated to hometown teams, home team highlights. It's 30 minutes of nightly sports news dedicated to your teams. The 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report, Pittsburgh edition, nightly at 11.
Perhaps some players who will be on the field here in the future. Watching Monaca and Rochester play. Monaca in the white. 2nd and 6 situation. Second back through is Miller, and he is banged, hit hard by middle linebacker Javon Bradley. He's going to lose a couple, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 8.
He was in the backfield before that play ever developed, and the penetration of that defense is just absolutely phenomenal on both sides of the ball.
Boy, Bradley just shot through there. Didn't buy the early fake at all. That's going to bring up a 2nd or 3rd and 8 situation. 3 receivers split out to the left side. And it's a quick pitch to McPhillamy. McPhillamy being chased and bounces off a couple of tacklers. Great job by McPhillamy on 3rd and 8. He picks up 10, finally dragged down by Jermaine Moy. But he eluded Ryan Woods and a couple other tacklers and was able to pick up a big first down for the Monaca Indians.
Well, what's happening is they drove those 3 wide receivers off and they quick pitched them. And Eric McPhillamy looks exactly like a player that played for me back in Monaca in '75, and that's Scotty McKeel. He has the same sense of balance, same good feet, and he's a very hard-nosed kid.
And you talked about the cut back. We continue to see those linemen flowing one way and McPhillamy cutting in behind them to pick up extra yardage. Here's the give again to Miller off the left side, and Miller will pick up about 3 or 4. Stopped on the play by Jason Pfeffer.
And the offensive line of Monaca in the last 2 plays have done an outstanding job. They've stopped that penetration at the point of attack, and the backs are getting their shoulders square, and they're picking up 2, 3, 4 yards at a time.
We expected a close game, and boy, you can't get much closer than this, at least as far as statistics go. Each team starting about the same place, the same amount of yards. Differences in the time of possession. That's because Rochester only needed 18 seconds to score their first touchdown.
Absolutely right, and the time of possession is going to be important. But also what's going to happen is the field position is going to play an important part in this game also.
Egan running that one off the left side, and it looks like they like that left side as Mike Boyd makes the stop for Rochester. They've had a lot of success on the left side over there, and it is now going to be 3rd and about 1.
Well, it was really nice visiting my sister Janet and brother Tom down in Monaca on Thanksgiving is that not only do you have turkey and you have cranberry and pumpkin pie, but you also have WPIAL playoffs.
I bet that was the main topic of conversation, huh?
Never stop talking about it.
Quick pitch out to McPhillamy, tries to spin back, battling for extra yardage, and now a little surge, and we'll have to see where this ball is going to be marked. Sadler led the charge defensively for the Rams.
Looks like he crossed the line, and they're giving him a very good spot here. It's a first down.
Well, McPhillamy doing an excellent job there, spinning out of the first tackle and fighting for extra yardage.
As you're going to see, there's another quick pitch. They're exploiting this. You can see the tackles looping out to make the blocks here, and once he gets his shoulders square, he's very difficult to bring down.
Sadler had that initial hit. They knew McPhillamy had talent. They weren't sure about the tough yards, and he has proven that in spades, that he knows how to get him. Again up the middle, battling through Moy and more, and look at him surging forward to pick up extra yardage. Picks up about 8.
Get those shoulders square, keep the legs moving. They got in the hole, and then he just used his leg strength to move the ball down for about 8 yards.
Take another look at it. And look at this. The initial hit comes maybe 3 or 4 yards off the line of scrimmage, and look at him continuing to battle and pick up an extra 3 or 4 yards. Call it 2nd and 3. Full house, power right. Fake to McPhillamy up the middle. Here comes Egan, the second back through, and he gets inside the 10-yard line and all the way down to the 7, where it'll be 1st and goal for the Indians.
Well, what's happening now is they're setting this up perfectly. Everybody is watching and keying on McPhillamy, and that second back is coming right through. Excellent blocking on the line of scrimmage.
That hole was huge, and Horton has to make a touchdown-saving tackle at the 7-yard line.
Well, sometimes what happens is that the speed that you have on defense could really hurt you, and I think that's what's happening now.
Full house backfield, and it looked like we had some movement along the line. No play. And we'll have to see whether it's going to be offsides for Rochester, whether Monaca moved. Looked to me like Monaca may have moved a little early.
Well, somebody got a good jump on it. He was in the secondary before that play ever developed, so he either got a tip because of the defense. He was offside. Half the distance here.
And there you can see Mark Lyons. Boy, he talked about what a good job Gene Matsook has done. In 5 years for Lyons, his Indians 41-17. He also played on the Indians 1982 Whitfield Championship team, so he's got some roots in this game as well.
He sure does.
Moore brings the team up to the line of scrimmage. Approaching 8 minutes left to go here in the second quarter. Quick handoff up the middle. No! He keeps it instead.
Looked like he missed. Yeah, it was a naked bootleg. It was a great play, but he didn't pull the ball out. And what happened was that he fumbled it. If he would have got it clean, he could have had a run to the corner here.
See, Harley is going to fake to Marshall off the middle. Oh, no, actually, it just popped right out of there. So Marley had the ball, or Harley was very alert in getting the ball. Marshall had the ball stripped.
It looked like a great deceptive play there from up here. It didn't look like that at all.
Now McPhillamy, the second back through, and he is wrapped up as Bradley gets there first, gets some help from Moy and others. And it's going to be 3rd and goal. 2 plays, and we've seen him lose maybe half a yard.
The penetration of those defensive down people on that 4 is just stopping the play in the backfield. They're not even getting their shoulders square to the line of scrimmage.
And Harley trots back into the huddle. Call the play. We're under 7 minutes to go. 3rd down. Goal to go from the 3-yard line. Power I. Power is to the left. Quick pitch. And he's going to get in there for the score. It's Kevin Miller, the sophomore. And that makes it 7-6. And that quick pitch really paid off for him throughout the entire drive, Sam.
Well, the first 2 downs of that series, they set up, they were trying to go in the middle, even though there was a miscommunication as far as the first play was concerned. But they're setting it up by pounding the middle and then having Rochester key the inside and then a quick pitch outside. That was a very, very good play.
And so Mark Lyons finds his team on the board, trailing by just a point. Snap is good, kick is up,
good,
and it is no good, wide left, as Keith Bloom missed the kick. So it remains 7-6. Rochester leads Monaca. We'll be back with more from Three Rivers Stadium right after this.
So, you want to join the Don Allen Used Car Super Center?
Yes, sir.
At the Don Allen Used Super Center, we check them better with a 100-point quality check. We back them better with a money-back guarantee. And we price them better. The big Don Allen Used Car Super Center.
Check it out!
Verizon Wireless introduces Mobile Web, the wireless internet access you personalize on your computer, then use right over your phone. With a simple scroll and click, you can get just the information you want, the moment you want it. Mobile Web, only from Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Sign up now and get the first 3 months access free with annual contract.
Welcome back to Three River Stadium. The Indians complete a 13-play, 64-yard drive in 6 minutes and 43 seconds. Exactly the kind of drive, Sam, that you were talking about. They need to keep Rochester off the field.
And Gary Gale is standing behind us, and he's helping us do the production of this game. He gave me a little note here saying that the Monaca coaching is tremendous. They didn't panic after the quick score. It was very smart coming off the ball, didn't cave in on play with Rochester. And Rochester and Monaca, it's going to turn out to be the same kind of game we thought it was going to be, a very ground-oriented game, a very back-oriented game, and a very defensive game. I think Gary hit the nail on the head.
We saw Griffin there fumbling the kickoff, finally got it out to the 41-yard line where Harley and others were able to bring him down. So Rochester, it's been a while since they've had the football, almost 7 minutes.
I hope this game doesn't turn out to be a game at the kicking game, because both coaches are going to be really fretful about it.
Yeah, that's going to make them both nervous, no question about it. And there's Moy as they run out of the full house backfield. Moy will pick up about 4 yards over the right side. Bring up a 2nd and 6. Now we're at about 6 minutes and 15 seconds left here in the second quarter. Plenty of time. Certainly Rochester is not in throw mode. We have seen neither team be in throw mode nor want to be.
No, they don't want to be.
Mode.
That's exactly right. They don't want to be. Adam Moore has only thrown the ball 82 times all year and completed 43 for 648 yards. So they don't want to put the game in his hands.
He's also thrown 10 touchdowns. So they've been able to use him as a change of pace. See Griffin going in motion. Quick slant up the middle to Bradley. Bradley will pick up about 4 yards. He's brought down by Tommy Kaminsky and Tony Kaminsky as the brothers combine on the stop.
And I think what happens is when you get into situations where you run the ball as much as Monaca and Rochester does, and especially Rochester, that they have the speed to go with it, with their receivers, and they use that play fake. So they get everybody, they get 8, 9 people up in the box. They fake the run, and then those wide receivers are wide open.
I got the feeling, talking to Coach Matzik earlier in the week, that might be something we see in this game, that we might see some extra wrinkles from Rochester. Now, we haven't seen them yet, but we haven't needed to see them yet either. Second back through is Bradley, and Bradley powers over the right side, and that's good for a first down. Now Billy Osborne standing by with more. Billy? Okay, we evidently having some audio troubles with Billy. When we get that straightened out, we'll head back down to him and see what he has to say. Well, we saw what he had to say. This time we'll hear what he has to say.
If you'll notice, Rob, and I'm sure the people on TV, just look at Monaca's defense. They have 10 people 5 yards from the line of scrimmage.
And they have one coming on a blitz as well as Moy is hit. Now, was he down or is it going to be a fumble? They're going to say Moy was down, ground caused the fumble. So it will remain Rochester ball as Nathan Bickerstaff came in and made a hit. Keith Bloom as well in on that play.
I hope we have a replay of that one. Here it comes right here.
See Bickerstaff in there.
That was a very good call. The ground did cause the fumble. His knees were down when the ball came out. He was in the middle of a turn.
Yep.
And there the ball comes out.
Josh Antonopoulos was in on that stop as well. 2nd and 7. And the first back through, shaking through, and cutting back is Javon Bradley. And Bradley's going to go all the way in for a score. 45-yard touchdown run for Javon Bradley. Rochester's quick strike capability shows itself again, and they lead 13-6.
Get those backs in 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, and the speed and quickness and their cutting ability just turns the ball game into a whole different kind of a scenario.
And I'll tell you what, defensively, anybody's played high school football, all the backs flowing in different directions, the linemen moving, it is difficult to figure out who's got the ball.
Yes, it is. You have to read your keys, and when you have that kind of quickness, if you're just one step behind a read, the back is past you.
And this time, instead of Bradley, it'll be Griffin to come on and kick the extra point. And his kick is up, and it is no good. Missed it wide right.
Well, that's going to open the door here for Monaca if they can get somebody that can kick the ball. Actually, when they go back into this thing, they have an opportunity to make a choice if you can't kick it. Personally, if I can't kick it, I'm not going to line up and do that. I'm going to run the ball and try to get the 2-point conversion.
Yeah, each team's sort of stubbornly staying with that, even though they're only successful about 50% of the time, or were the last couple of weeks. They also claimed, each coach, that they weren't too worried about it.
Well,
I'd be plenty worried.
I would definitely be worried in this kind of a game.
5 plays, 59 yards, 2 minutes and 56 seconds, capped off by a 45-yard touchdown run by Javon Bradley. So we've seen a 55-yarder from Kirby Griffin, a 45-yarder from Javon Bradley. And they've also got another guy, Jermaine Moy, who's capable of those kind of runs as well.
Well, what's happening is Monaca's dominating the time of possession, and Rochester is dominating the long yardage touchdowns. So if Monaca is going to be successful, they're going to have to try very hard to get to their reads a little bit quicker, penetrate the line of scrimmage, and cause those backs to stop their feet in the backfield. If they get through the line of scrimmage and 2 or 3 yards behind it, they're into the secondary and it's all over.
But isn't this about what we expected? Boy, another bad kick off the side of the foot and out of bounds. And Monaca will take over the 38-yard line. Isn't this about what we expected? We expected Monaca to try to go on long, sustained drives, Rochester to be capable of getting quick scores, and that's exactly what we've seen. We're on serve, as they'd say in tennis. We're on possession. 3 minutes and 43 seconds left, and Monaca has the ball. Rochester got it first and leads by a score.
Well, let's go back to the game that they played the last game of the season. Rochester jumped out to a 12-0 game.
And you see the 2 scoring plays amounting to 100 yards, or 10 other plays for 12 yards. That's what they're capable of doing. And the fake pitch, and Handoff up the middle to Marshall, nothing doing, picked up about a yard or so. You were mentioning that last game of the season.
Right. Rochester jumped out to a 12-0 lead. Monaca came back and made it 14-12. And then in the third quarter, Rochester had a long touchdown, and it's the very same thing that's happening right here. Monaca cannot seem to stop what the graphics said right here. They go 10, 12, 13 plays and hold them for 20, 25 yards, and then bingo, here comes a long run.
2nd and 9 situation. Harley brings the team to the line of scrimmage, still in the full house backfield. And second back through, this is Miller. Miller tries to get outside. He's brought down. We have a flag on the play. We'll sort out what that is for you, but first let's go down now to Billy Osborne. Billy?
Thank you. Javon Bradley, who just scored that long touchdown, actually transferred from Jordan High School in Long Beach, California earlier in the season and did not have his jersey number listed in any programs. He started the first time for the Battle of the Bridge, rushed 10 times for 98 yards. I guarantee you after that run, they know who he is now.
Thank you, Billy. Yeah, his grandma's from Rochester, and so they had talked all year about, hey, there's this kid from Long Beach, California who's going to be coming in here to play football for us.
What year is he, Billy?
He's a junior.
Junior.
He is a junior, so and they talked about him. He finally showed up, got him a couple games under his belt, and he was so good, in fact, that they moved James Sadler, and Jimmy's a very good linebacker. They moved him outside to the strong side because Javon was so good, and they put Javon in at middle linebacker, and also see some time, as we mentioned, at running backs. It's that third running back with Nate Waldron, and now Harley comes to the line of scrimmage, calls timeout on a 3rd and 9, and they want to make sure they get this one right. 2 minutes and 46 seconds left on the clock here in the first half. And I'll tell you what, a first down is not only big because it keeps the drive alive, but I don't think you want to give Rochester the ball with too much time left to go in this first half.
You absolutely do not want to do that. The worst thing that could happen now is that for Rochester to put more points on the board before halftime goes in. The game is being consistently played. It's a struggle between both offenses and both defenses, but you don't want to give them an opportunity to get up 2 touchdowns because now you're pressuring yourself to get into a situation where you're going to do things you don't want to do.
Hey, you ready for an Oberman fix? Sunday night sports just got a whole lot better as the Keith Oberman Evening News airs tomorrow at 10 o'clock on Fox Sports Net. Each Sunday night, Keith provides his unique perspective on the world of sports, wrapping up the week's events and taking a look forward as to what's ahead. The Keith Oberman Evening News tomorrow at 10 o'clock only on Fox Sports Net. Check local listings for the start time in your area. Here, the 3rd and 9 situation. Monaca, the Indians in the white, trailing 13-6. Harley brings the team to the line of scrimmage. Fake handoff, here comes Egan on the reverse. Cuts back, and he's going to be just short of the first down, a couple of yards short, as Jermaine Moy made an ankle tackle with Egan. And it is 4th and about 2.
I would doubt very seriously if Monaca is going to take a chance here and run this football, even though they're lining up like they're going to bring the offense back on here. Personally, I would not do that.
You can see Harley chatting things over. I believe they have 1 timeout left. They do have 1 timeout left. Rochester has all 3 of their timeouts left. And it looks like they're going to go for it. Boy, this is some confidence. And now Rochester, no, it's going to be a delay of game, so I think that might alter their plans a little bit. 5 yards, maybe he just wanted to chew up as much clock as he could before having to punt. And there are exactly 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Monaca with the ball on their own 40-yard line. It's 4th and 7. The punt team trots out now.
It's a little bit too early to take a chance in giving Rochester the ball on the 50-yard line or 45-yard line. Anything can happen. It's still early. Both teams are in this ball game, and to take a chance and give Rochester with that much time on the clock an opportunity to play with 1 first down, they'd be in 4-down territory. I would personally not do that.
And now Rochester spends a timeout. They'll still have 2 remaining. And they figure to get pretty good field position. When you're talking about Class A football, you're talking about 30, 35 kids on a team maybe. So you're talking about, you're generally, just because of the numbers, and you mentioned that no soccer programs, the kicking game, the ability of the kids to punt and to kick, those chores usually fall not on specialists, but on the best athletes on the team. And so you don't get guys who are spending the entire practice over there punting footballs or kicking extra points. So you'll generally see a punt situation or an extra point or field goal situation are no sure matters as they move up in class and have more kids that they can specialize in those kind of things. They become probably a little bit better, but these are a little adventurous out here.
They sure are.
And back deep, Griffin and Moy. So they go with two back. And clearly trying to kick the ball away as Ricky Schultz picked up on the bounce though by Griffin. Griffin looking, and he's got a little seam up the left side, and we've got a flag on the play, and I think we're going to have a clip.
To go back to what you're saying, Robert, is exactly right. And if you follow the pattern of what's happening here, Griffin does the kickoff and the punting for Rochester, and the quarterback, Matt Harley, does the punting for Monaca. So they're trying to utilize their best athletes to put them in those positions.
10 yards.
And we'll take a look at it here. Yeah, Moy, no question about it, hit Bloom. Craig Bloom right in the back. I remember when I played as a sophomore, they asked me to go play a JV game, and I went there, and they didn't even have a punter or anything. So I was the up back. They said, one guy said, well, I can kick me right in the back of the leg.
I don't think we're in that position right here.
I said, you know what, I think I'll punt from here on out. And a man in motion. Quick hitter and a nice little hole there for Griffin as he surges forward for about 5 or 6 yards.
I was really impressed with Griffin's stature when he was at the station on Tuesday night. I mean, he's very well built. He looks like a bodybuilder. He has shoulders that are really wide and a waist that looked like 28-inch waist, and he looked muscular even underneath his jacket and shirt.
Yeah, 6'1", 205 pounds. And one of the things Coach Matsuk liked about both he and Moy, they block for each other. They're unselfish. And boy, they can run.
Great feet.
And Griffin picks up a couple more before he's finally slammed down. We're at 55 seconds remaining. It looks like we're pretty much talking about maybe winding this thing down here. Doesn't look like Coach Matsuk is planning anything much, but then again, this might be the ideal time for a little play-action pass.
Well, he also doesn't want to make a mistake this deep into his own territory. So I wouldn't think you're going to see anything different than what we've seen in the...
I'm wrong. More back to pass. He's going for a long one. And it is caught by Griffin and an ankle tackle. Wow, that was frightening as Chris D'Antonio makes the stop. Or is that Schultz out there? I beg your pardon. That was Ricky Schultz who makes that stop. And now with 23 seconds left, after the long bomb, Rochester will use a timeout. And that went 32 yards.
And they went back in a one-back set. And he just dropped straight back and let the ball rip. And the athletic ability of Kirby Griffin was obvious on that play because he went up after the ball. Defensive back was right there. He was in position to make it, and his athletic talent just took over.
It was clear what Coach Matsuk had in mind there. He said, listen, let's get as much clock off as we can here, and then let's take a shot at it. And if it happens, we still got enough time with 1 or 2 more timeouts left to try to do something. And boy, Griffin almost broke this. We saw Schultz just able to get enough of him to bring him down.
Rick Schultz's father played for me at Monaca in 1975.
Is that right?
We're going back here. There's so many people and so many relationships here that cross over. Is just amazing.
So we could have a father and son championship team if Monaca can come back and win this thing.
Absolutely.
More back to pass now. Big rush, and he is dragged down. And that is Josh Antonopoulos who makes the grab. And they look like they want to quickly spike one, or are they going to try to get a playoff?
They're going to get a playoff.
No, they're going to call a timeout, and Griffin says, that's it, let's call a timeout. 7 seconds left, probably enough time to take one shot at the end zone. And Antonopoulos doing a nice job here. Oh, just overpowers his man, Nick Manarino, the center, and is able to come in there and fight through and get the sack of Moore. Big play there.
And two years ago when Monaca was playing Rochester, Antonopoulos had a brother, I'm sorry I can't remember the names, who is now a starting linebacker for Duquesne University. So it just perpetuates itself. The Schultzes, the Antonopouloses, the McDonalds, the Kaminskis, they're all on the same, it's just continue to feed the system, so to speak.
Let's head down to the sidelines again where Bill Osborne has more. Bill?
All right, just that last play right there. A couple of the coaches were yelling timeout while some of the other coaches were yelling kill, kill, which means spike the football. They were a little confused to see if they had a timeout or not left. They decided they did have a timeout, and that's why they called it. They waste probably about 8 seconds. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them here in the last 7 seconds.
Thank you, Bill. I don't know. I think we're in a situation here where there's just enough time to take one shot. Even if they'd used that timeout earlier, there's not much they can do, even though the clock does stop if you get a first down.
And this is just going to put the ball up for grabs and let one of your athletes make the play.
Try to put it up for grabs if you have enough time. Deflected hit from
Interception.
behind and picked off. And there's a big hit. I'll tell you what, that could have gone the other way as Nathan Bickerstaff picked it off and Moy slammed him to the ground. Boy, Bickerstaff had some room out there.
There's another familiar name, Bickerstaff. His dad played in Monaca in 1974-75.
You see Moore going back to pass and Bloom coming in. Any problems? That's Keith Bloom. And makes the big hit. And Bickerstaff picks this thing off. I'll tell you what, he's thinking about going the other way as Moy makes the tackle. Oh, let's go back down to Bill Osborne standing by live on the field. Bill?
Get through. Coach, tough first half. You knew it was going to be that way. Big rivalry game. The kids seemed to settle down there after the first quarter. You got a tough second half. What do you tell your kids at halftime?
Well, we've got to go in and make a couple of adjustments. They threw a couple of different defenses against us in the first half, and we've got to get our kids make the adjustments, change the blocking schemes a little bit, and I think we'll be all right for the second half. But the big key is going to be our defense.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Good luck in the second half.
All right, thanks very much, Bill. That was Gene Matsuk, the coach for the Rochester Rams, and his team leading Monaca right now by the score of 13-6. A couple of long touchdown runs, and we'll be back with more from Three Rivers Stadium right after this.
Interesting. Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola? A paradox. While molecularly similar, they logically seem to offer two possibilities. Of course, you must invariably arrive at one and only one correct choice.
Duh.
A no-brainer.
A quality education that's close to home. Over 40 majors in bachelor's and master's degrees for traditional and adult students. A caring faculty teaching in a Christian perspective. If that's what you're looking for, then you're looking for Geneva College. For over 150 years, Geneva has been providing higher learning with a higher purpose. To find out more about what a Geneva education can mean for you, call 724-846-5100 or visit their website at www.geneva.edu. Geneva College, bringing faith to life.
Hi, my name is Joe Androstic, sales manager at Sandal Motors, Route 30 East in Greensburg. For years we've been telling you if you buy a Buick or Oldsmobile someplace else you'll pay more money. Well, the same holds true as it has in the past. We sell Buicks and Oldsmobiles at the lowest bottom line prices you'll find anywhere. So there's no reason to wait for year-end clearance sales, factory promotions. Your best deal, excellent customer service can only be found right here at Sandal Motors. So remember, if you buy a Buick or Oldsmobile someplace else, you'll pay more money.
Hey, Keith, you're going to show bloopers? 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 Bloopers?
You guys show bloopers?
No.
The Keith Olbermann Evening News, Sundays at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
It's NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net.
Should get up and hang out with us because we're going to have a little bit of fun.
It's Sunday morning chalk talk and trash talk.
I like the hair today, Chris Myers. You look a little like Bob's big boy.
Tomorrow at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
The WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net are brought to you by Verizon Wireless. Join in. And by McDonald's. We love to see you smile.
We're getting what we expected to get in the Class A title game between Rochester and Monaca. Run, run, and run. Looks like the Battle of the Bridge will be decided by one big run or another. Right now, the Rams leading it by a score of 13-6. And of course, we're talking about the players in the field, but we can't not talk about the band. Let's listen to the Marching Indians of Monaca High School. Once again, that's the Marching Indians of Monaca High School entertaining the crowd here at halftime for the Class A title game between Rochester and Monaca. So far, the difference in this one, a couple of big runs by Kirby Green and Javon Bradley, 55 and 45 yards. Of course, Griffins, coming on the first play of the game, 55 yards to set the tempo in this one. Of course, it's been run, run, and run. We'll show you the highlights and the statistics from the first half coming up right after this. You're watching Fox Sports Net's coverage of Championship Saturday from Three River Stadium.
You smile.
At McDonald's, every order is made hot, fresh, right to order. So I'm not just making a burger.
I'm making your burger.
Each and every day, there's great food and great deals at McDonald's, like our world-famous double cheeseburger for only 99 cents, and our tasty McChicken sandwich, also just 99 cents.
We love to see you smile.
Double cheeseburger or McChicken sandwich, just 99 cents each.
Sunday night fights on Fox Sports Net. Witness the return of the American Dream, David Reed. Pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world. Boxing fury from a ringside seat. David Reed, Carino Garcia. Sunday night fights on Fox Sports Net.
Verizon Wireless introduces Mobile Web, the wireless internet access you personalize on your computer, then use right over your phone. With a simple scroll and click, you can get just the information you want, the moment you want it. Mobile Web. only from Verizon Wireless. Join in.
Sign up now and get the first 3 months access free with annual contract.
I'm from Whitehall and I did better at Don Allen.
The hot new Mazda Tribute is here. Half SUV, half sports sedan. Don Allen can get you one for as little as $17,520.
I did do better.
I did do better. You will do better at the big Don Allen Auto Complex. So, you want to join the Don Allen Used Car Super Center?
Yes, sir.
At the Don Allen Used Super Center, we check them better with a 100-point quality check. We pack them better with a money-back guarantee. And we price them better. The big Don Allen Used Car Super Center.
Check it out!
Well, welcome back to Three River Stadium for our coverage of Championship Saturday and the Class A title game between Rochester and Monaca. An entertaining first half, at least if you're a fan of the running game. Let's check out the highlights from the first half. Monaca wasting no time in this one in the first quarter. Kirby Griffin on the first play from scrimmage going 55 yards, breaking a couple tackles, and he finds the end zone. The Rams take an early 7-0 lead, but in the second quarter, Rochester would come back. Kevin Miller will cap a 13-play, 64-yard drive with his 3-yard touchdown run. PAT no good, 7-6 Rams. With just under 4 minutes to go in the first half, Javon Bradley on a 2nd and 8 makes a couple nice moves and finds the most open pasture as he goes up for the score to give the Rams a 13-6 lead. That's where we stand right now at halftime. Let's take a look at the first half stats. Pretty even across the board as far as first downs go, 6-4. And I've actually lost my video on that, but I can tell you that it's been pretty even across the board. And I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and take a listen to the Marching Indians of Rochester High School once again as they continue to entertain the crowd here at Three River Stadium. Once again, the marching Rams of Rochester High School entertaining the crowd here, and obviously a good reason to entertain them. The Rams leading it by a score of 13-6 in a game that has been dominated, excuse me, by the run. If you think things are going to change in the second half, you better think again because the weather is starting to change, so any chance of a passing attack is probably going to be put to bed right now. Let's head upstairs to Rob King and Sam LaFazzi will have more as the second half gets ready to get underway.
All right, thank you very much, Dan. First of all, when you look at the game, who has got the tempo going in their favor right now, would you say, Sam?
Well, obviously, the score indicates who has the tempo going. Rochester has the tempo going for them, and that's the only thing they have going for them, because what happens here is if you look at the statistics, Monaca has rushed the ball for 24 times. Rochester's only rushed the ball 14 times. Monaca has a time of possession of 14:30 to 9:30. So statistically, Monaca is winning the game, but the scoreboard doesn't indicate that because of the quick strike attack that Rochester has.
As a former coach, what are you telling each team? And let's begin with Monaca, the Indians trailing right now in this game. What would you tell your team at halftime? What kind of adjustments would you try to make for the second half?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of telling the team. I think it's the matter of the coaching staff making the decision that they can't put the offense in some sort of a consistent kind of a situation. If Monaca is going to win the game, they're going to have to do something they've never done before, and that is they're going to have to throw the ball on first or second down rather than to wait until they get in a situation where they have to throw the ball. Rochester knows that, and they're going to put on the blitzes and try to pressure the quarterback.
Yeah. And as far as Rochester goes, clearly things are going in the right direction as far as you're concerned, the big strike capability, but they have yet to have a really good long sustained drive, but I guess maybe you don't need one.
See, I don't think Rochester's the kind of team that wants that sustained drive. Griffin has only run the ball 5 times, and in that 5 times he broke a 58-yarder. Bradley only ran the ball 4 times, and in that situation he has ripped off a 53-yarder. So if I'm Rochester, I'm doing the same thing that I did in the first half. Give the ball to those backs who have the ability to break it any time they have it.
Rochester leading Monaca right now 13-6. Monaca gets the ball first when we pick up second half action, which we're going to do right after this from Three River Stadium on Fox Sports Net, Pittsburgh.
Finally, a real sports radio station has slammed into the Berg. Sports Radio 970 AM is the only place to hear every Steelers and Penguins game live. Plus, Scott Paulson.
Good afternoon, everybody!
Jim Rowe.
Back in Pittsburgh by popular demand.
Turn your head and cough, Pittsburgh. We need to make sure you're in shape for this much sports. Sports Radio 970 AM, the Berg.
SportsBeat has the Steelers covered.
Oh, goodness!
Monday, a complete recap of the game. And Tuesday, we break down Bill Cowher's press conference. SportsBeat, weeknights on Fox Sports Net, presented by Verizon. Make Fox Sports Net your morning destination for sports news that's 100% dedicated to your home teams. Then get national sports news from a fresh perspective. The regional sports report followed by the national sports report, weekday mornings on Fox Sports Net.
Hey, Keith, you're going to show bloopers? Bloopers? You guys show bloopers?
No.
The Keith Olbermann Evening News, Sundays at 10 on Fox Sports Net.
I started selling cars when I was 21 years old, and I learned at an early age that every customer is a valued customer. That's how I run my business. At John Howard's, you never forget what it's like to buy a car. For most people, it's a big decision. We don't hesitate to go the extra mile for the customer. We're not happy unless you are. Are John Howard's customers satisfied? Just ask them. We're easy to find.
John Howard's, with 3 convenient locations to serve you.
Want heart-pounding highlights? Then you gotta see this. It's death-defying, car-crashing, fist-flying action. Video that'll blow you away. Think you've seen it all? You gotta see this. Sunday at 6 on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back to Three River Stadium. And the WPIAL Football Championships on Fox Sports Net are brought to you by McDonald's. We love to see you smile. And by Verizon Wireless. Join in. Monaca will get the ball first here. We're just about 45 seconds or so away from the beginning of the second half. There's a Rochester Rams fan. Yeah, she got a big smile on her face. She must be buddies with Ryan Woods. Number 58 painted on her face. And Monaca now, they fell behind Port Cherry in round 1. They scored 20 points in the fourth quarter to win that game 34-20. They fell behind Farrell 22-18 in the first quarter in round 2. They won that game 30-22. They fell behind Canevin last week, rallied in the third and then in the fourth quarter to win that game. So this is familiar ground for Monaca. Not an enviable position to be in, though, Sam, when you're behind what might very well be the best football team in Class A in this area.
Well, I think what happens is that what you just stated, Rob, is the fact that you could see the experience of the coaching staff going in at halftime, diagnosing exactly what's happening on the field, and the assistant coaches are telling Coach Lyons, listen, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do this, because they're going to have to obviously make some adjustments. And the experience of that staff to make the adjustments has proven that they are capable of coming back out here and doing the very same thing against Rochester.
Rochester got their 500th win in school history earlier in the playoffs in the first round. And that was back on November 3rd. Now they're looking for their 5th WPIAL championship in school history. They had 3 of them in the 90s, as we mentioned, as well. And I'll tell you what, Jermaine Moy, we talked about him earlier in the game, has really been pretty quiet. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities, but again, Rochester hasn't had the ball for that long.
When you only have the ball rushing-wise 14 times, it's kind of difficult to spread the leather out to make sure that each one of those backs have enough opportunities. And I think what you're going to see in the second half is obviously the coaching staff from Rochester. They're not here because they're not experienced, even though Coach Matsuk has only been on the field 1 year as a head coach. He's been there for 14 years previous to that. They're going to come back out there and identify that.
Billy Osborne is standing by now, I believe, with Coach Mark Lyons. Billy, take it away.
Thanks, Rob. I'm down here with Coach Lyons. Coach, you've possessed the ball for 5 more minutes in Rochester, and you run 11 more offensive plays, yet you're behind on the scoreboard. What do you tell your team at halftime?
You know what? That's typical Rochester, though. But you know what? We want to keep doing what we were doing. We want to make sure we eat up the clock, keep the ball out of their hand. We got to eliminate the big plays. I mean, we played pretty good defense that first half. I think we held them to 2 first downs, but we let 2 big long runs occur. So we got to come back and play good, sound, fundamental defense. That's what's going to win this football game.
Coach, you've been here. This is your 3rd straight year. Who do you look to have to step up here in the second half for you?
Up front. We got to go right to our up front people. Both offensive, defensive lines, they got to step it up. They got to control the line of scrimmage. Again, keep Rochester's offense off the field, but get them a lot of 3 and outs on the offense also.
All right, Coach, good luck in the second half. Back up to you guys.
All right, Bill, thanks very much. Next game coming up, we hope you're enjoying this one. This is just the first of 4. Is a matchup of unbeatens. Aliquippa and Waynesburg will be fighting for the AA championship, and that will be coming up about half an hour or so after the conclusion to this first game. Then West Allegheny takes on West Mifflin for the AAA championship, and then at about 7 o'clock, Mount Lebanon will take on Woodland Hills for the Quad A championships. That was a good day of football, and the crowd, we can see, beginning to filter in already. Some of the blue seats are taken up, and now some of the red seats behind those at Three River Stadium. Getting some fans in there.
Since we have a little bit of time to talk, Robert, it's amazing. Over Thanksgiving dinner down in Monaca, my Aunt Ethel lives in Beaver Falls, and she's 65 years old, and she's talking about football and what the coaches should be doing and stuff like that. So football is almost a tradition to the point where it goes beyond being a tradition. It's like a staple in that.
And this, the width of this football field is just about the width of the Ohio River that separates the 2 towns. I mean, and I don't think there's any Rochester fans sitting over on the Monaca side. I don't think there's any Monaca fans sitting over on the Rochester side either.
That is not going to happen. If anybody tried to do that, they would be pleasantly escorted away from those 2 places.
We talked a little bit about the twins, the Kaminskis and the Blooms, and the Kaminski's mom went to Rochester, dad went to Monaca. That's about as close as you're going to get to any sort of civility between the 2, the fact that those 2 got married.
Well, even off the football field, off the basketball court, off the baseball diamond, the 2 towns, because of the proximity of them, you know, it's almost a transient kind of thing where they're both moving in and out of the district. My wife, Linda, is from Rochester, but obviously she's pulling for Monaca. because all of my family and situations. And the mayor of Monaca, Frank Primo, is graduate of Rochester, so it just goes on and on. It just intertwines all the way through everything.
And I'll tell you, they talked about how this rivalry, close to the edge as far as civility is concerned, and the coaches telling their kids, hey, listen, during game week and this week, stay out of the malls, stay at home, don't make yourself visible, stay out of trouble because trouble might arise. But it generally, that kind of trouble generally does not. It is generally kept maybe just this side of clean, but clean nonetheless.
Well, I think what happens is that the kids in the school at this particular time, they're going to keep their composure. They're not going to put themselves in a position that it's going to carry over onto the field and let something not very smart happen to them to take them away from the game. Those kind of things normally happen from alumni that are coming back, have a couple drinks and things like that, and then it happens in the stands, not on the football field.
You will not see, you can watch all 4 games today, and you're going to see bigger kids and stronger kids and faster kids as the day progresses. You're not going to see anybody that plays harder than these 2 teams are playing, and yet, despite the fact that they play hard, on top of that, the tremendous rivalry and what it means to these kids, we haven't had one incident of pushing. Nobody shoved anybody. We haven't seen any trash talking. We've just seen good, clean, physical football so far.
And that comes from the coaches. That's where it all starts. Everything starts at the top.
Griffin kickoff, and he booted it deep. And handled there by Schultz. Schultz crosses the 25 and now coughs up the football. And it looks like Schultz recovered his own, and they say, yes, it is going to remain Monaca football. All right, Griffin with a good kickoff there.
It was a good kickoff. This is the worst field position that Monaca has had in every time that they've started. They've been around the 38-yard line each time, and this is the worst field position that they've started with from every time that they've had the ball.
And you see Griffin, who kicked off, was in the end of that play. I think Bradley was the one who made that big stick, and boy, we called his name a lot defensively. There's McPhillamy banging off one tackler, and Bradley in there again.
He looks like he's in Monaca's huddle most of the time, because he is 3 yards deep into Monaca's backfield before the play ever stops. So Monaca, when they are successful, they have that crisscrossing with the backs and they get their shoulders square, but there are times when those linebackers and that defensive front is standing in Monaca's backfield.
He is very quick. 2nd and 9 situation, and we see wind, but not really on the field level. If there is any wind, it would be blowing in Monaca's face right now. Quick pitch out to McPhillamy. McPhillamy bounces off one tackler, delivers a big hit, and then gets out to the 35-yard line. McPhillamy ran into Andre Horton, a big collision out there.
He is really, not only is he quick, but he has and have great feet, but he also has tremendous power.
Nate Waldron, the freshman, one of those also in on the tackle. We talked about him. And a lot of sophomores on each team, but Waldron, number 13, who you can see gets in on the end of that play, is the only freshman playing varsity for either team. Ooh, that is McPhillamy lowering his head and delivering a hit. And then Power was to the right side that time, and this is going to be close. Very, very close to a first down. And we saw Kevin Miller hitting the pitch and going to the right side, and I think we're going to have a measurement here.
I think
they're going to call first down. Right,
wow, that was really close.
And we've got that good eyeball ability there a little bit.
They sure do. I don't think I could have made that decision if I was the referee.
That was awfully close, but they're very positive about it. They said go ahead, first down. And again, Monaca's taking it 1 first down at a time right now. Power eye to the right again. And they go to the second back through. This is Egan on the counter, and Egan will pick up about 6.5 yards.
And what they're trying to do here is they're trying to get everybody. They're trying to take advantage of Rochester's quickness and getting those linebackers to commit to the first fake, and then cross-bucking across and trapping that hole.
And Pfeffer makes the tackle there. And it brings up a second, and we'll call it a long 3. Moore breaks the team out of the huddle. 2 tight ends once again. Power eye once again. Power eye to the left side. And it's Egan, the second back through. around the left side and bounces outside, is able to pick up 5 more yards. First down, Monaca again.
And then and what Coach Lyons, Coach Lyons said at the onset is they have to rely on their people up front. And as we talked about at the beginning of the program or the beginning of the show, is that Monaca has the experience with 6 seniors out of that front 7.
In the first game, we mentioned this before, Rochester led 12-0. Monaca came back. They took the lead 14-12. Rochester eventually won the game 24-14. So we expect this game pretty much to go down to the wire. Now bouncing outside, Egan, and this time some help defensively. I think the initial stick was Moy, and then Horton came on there, and Waldron was there as well.
And what also is important here is the fact that they sent the other 2 backs to the left, and Egan came right, but he picked up 3 yards, 2.5 to 3 yards, and that's a part of their offense. They want to grind it out. They want to try to wear Rochester down, and eventually what will happen is they'll spring a 12, 15, 20-yard game.
I think that's a good point. Yeah, they might not spring the 50-yarder. What they want to avoid is getting stopped at the line of scrimmage or losing a half-yard. They want positive yards all the time. And now this is the second back field again. This is McPhillamy, and McPhillamy will pick up 5 more to bring up a 3rd and 2.
And this is a critical down for him. I personally would think that he's going to, if he gets close, he's going to go ahead and go for the 4-down territory.
McPhillamy is down right now, and he's holding his leg, and he looks to be in a great deal of pain. Oh, this is not at all a good sign.
No, it is not.
McPhillamy has been one of the leading rushers in Class A all season long. Has had a phenomenal season. We talked about earlier Joe McDonald, who was the sort of the feature back at the beginning of the season, perhaps a little more than McPhillamy. McPhillamy's been splitting the duty a little bit now with Billy Marshall. Since broke his foot, McDonald has screws in his right foot, had the cast removed. You see the leg getting twisted underneath the pile there, and bent back over the top of it. And it's just speculation on what it could be right now, as McDonald had McPhillamy is being helped off the field right now. McDonald had 765 yards for those first 4 games before getting hurt. Had a cast, obviously, with a broken foot, then had a walking cast. Had that cast, actually, the walking cast, removed on Monday. I think he was kind of hoping to try to play, but Coach Lyons just said,
That's just, I mean, my wife Linda's a physical therapist, and she was a part of my football team for 7 years, and there's just no way that they're going to jeopardize his career or his health and his life to put him in a game after just being out of the cast for just 2 or 3 weeks. The rehabilitation process hasn't even began.
So we have Marshall, Miller, and Egan in the full house backfield. And we'll see what the status is on Eric McPhillamy. He appears to be moving a little bit better as he gets over towards the bench. Second back through, and it's Marshall, and that is a first down. I'll tell you what, didn't matter who was running that football because a great surge by the offensive line of the Indians.
Well, what's going to happen here is that you're going to see that even though McPhillamy and Eric is a tremendous ball player and he has carried the burden of the offense throughout the entire season, but what I know about Monaca and the Rochester kids, someone's going to take his place. They nuke those kids. They put them in microwave ovens and just come back out, and they have another running back to take their place.
Yeah, it looked like McPhillamy, someone along the sideline, looks like he's going to be able to get back in the game. Quick pitch, and I think we had some early movement in the backfield of the Indians. And Rochester's pointing towards that, and I think this is going to be 5 yards back against the Indians. We'll see when they get the call.
And this is a momentum stopper right here. To have a flag on the first play, you just scored, you just made a first down. It was a big play, and then to start back 1st and 15 is going to be a momentum killer for him.
And that is indeed what the call is. Illegal motion in the backfield. And it'll be 1st and 15 from the 43-yard line as McPhillamy checks back in. It's a good ovation from the Monaca crowd. 3rd straight trip to the WPIAL Class A Finals for the Monaca Indians. They lost in overtime to Rochester in '98. Lost to Southside Beaver last year. And we're hoping that the 3rd time is the charm. Put Miller out this time. give it to McPhillamy. McPhillamy bouncing outside will pick up 3 tough yards. Bring up a second and 12 situation as Antoine Horton came up from his cornerback position to cut him down.
And I think what's going to happen now is that eventually Monaca's coaching staff is going to have to make the decision. They're only picking up chunks of 6-7 yards at a time, and their average probably about 4.3. This would be a perfect time, 2nd and about 9, to try to throw the ball and get the first down, get some momentum going on your side. That penalty was a killer for them.
Yeah, it's tough because if you don't complete that pass, then you're forced to throw on 3rd down, but that is exactly what they're going to do. Play action pass. He's got a man open out there and just couldn't connect.
Yeah, need to put a little bit of air under the ball. He tried to line drive it to him. He was wide open, 2 steps behind, and just overthrew him by about a yard.
Well, Schultz running a nice pattern. He ran in and then cut back out again, a post corner, and just barely out of his reach.
Just barely.
And he had Mike Boyd beaten out there, a couple of steps.
And this is indicative of what's happening as far as the stats following him all year. The play action and throwing the long pass, getting behind people.
A split again, play action again. And another pass overthrown. Schultz was out there again, and well, we'll see if the punt team comes out or not. Yeah, here comes the punt team from Monaca. They will kick it away from their own, or from Rochester's 40-yard line.
And I think what's going to happen here, this is a very smart decision. You know, you don't want to take a chance in giving Rochester the ball on the 38-yard line. This is going to be a situation where they're going to get them down inside the 10, hopefully get them down inside the 10, and force Rochester to go the length of the field to score.
Had a couple 3-and-outs, and here's the kick. Moy trying to chase it, and it rolls all the way into the end zone. So Rochester will get the ball at the 20-yard line. When we come back, they lead 13-6. It's their first possession of the second half. We'll be back at Three Rivers Stadium right after this.
Simple and accessible plans for everybody. That's Verizon Wireless. And right now, there's never been a better time to join in, because people coast to coast are discovering single rate. On plans as low as $35 a month, get 150 minutes with no long distance or roaming charges. Then get connected with an AudioVox 9000 phone. Hurry into a Verizon Wireless location near you or call 1-888-466-4646. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
We'd love to see you smile.
At McDonald's, we try to make every trip special. So we came up with a better drive-thru system. It helps us get the order right and helps you get it fast.
McDonald's has great deals every day, like our world-famous double cheeseburger for only 99 cents, and our tasty McChicken sandwich, also just 99 cents.
We'd love to see you smile.
Double cheeseburger or McChicken sandwich, just 99 cents each.
On the last 2 throws from Harley or Schultz, the ball appeared to slip out of Harley's hand. It is starting to rain down here a little heavily. And let me tell you something, there's nothing worse than throwing a wet football, so we'll see how this game progresses in terms of the weather and see if it affects the passing ability of both teams.
And I think you're exactly right. The only trouble is Monaca and Rochester do not want to throw the ball, so when they have to throw the ball, the rain is going to put them in a situation where it's going to be unique to them because they don't do it that much.
Well, I will say this, though, and people always think of the rain as making it difficult to throw, and it is. It's hard to throw a wet football, but it also gives a distinct advantage to a wide receiver running a pattern. He knows where he's going to go. If he can get a defensive back faked in one direction, then he can get himself open. And we saw Schultz get himself open. Unfortunately, Harley wasn't able to get the ball to him. And Bradley runs that one, and it's depend upon the mark. They're going to have to bring it out here. Well, now they're talking about measuring this one, and they didn't measure the other one. And here's the deal: if it's touching the 30, it's a first down, and if it's not, it isn't.
And we can't tell from up here.
Boy, they're right on top.
It looks like it's going to be a little bit short.
You think? I think he's got it. What do you think? Just barely. Short. Right you are. I don't understand that. Why would they have to measure?
Then they got the stick.
We had a touchback.
We got a loud clock.
So if it's on the 30, it's a first down. If it's not on the 30, it's not a first down.
You're exactly right.
All right. Well, every once in a while. Full house, more coming up. No quarterback sneak, hands it off instead. And Griffin batters over the left side and picks up another 8 yards. Keith Bloom made the stop for the Indians. First down, Rochester. Boy, that was a big, big first down.
Boy, I'll say, and you saw he was determined that he was getting his shoulders square to that line of scrimmage, and when he exploded up in there, he went for about 7 yards, strictly on quickness.
So Rochester was able to create themselves a little room. That was their worst starting field position of the day. And that comes off Monaca getting their worst starting field position of the day as well. Griffin now in motion. And the pitch is to Bradley, and Bradley is wrapped up and taken down. Nice job by Antonopoulos. He makes the stop for pickup of about 3 yards.
And Bradley and Griffin look like the same back when they're running the ball. I mean, he just might have moved in in the Rochester School District 5 or 6 weeks ago, but he just fits perfectly into that offense.
Yeah, they're very similar, Bradley and Griffin. Moy a little lankier, has a sort of a longer stride than those two do. And it's Moy who's deep in the power I, but it's Griffin who gets the ball, or rather Moy, I beg your pardon, it's Bradley who gets the ball.
Right.
With a quick hitter.
Well, they were in a power I set, and the tailback and the power I back went right, and Bradley came left, hoping that they were going to misdirect the linebackers and false read the keys.
Yeah, Tommy Kaminsky, the linebacker, was not fooled and was able to come up and make the stop in the hole right there. That's some help from David McLaughlin, who was at the point of the attack. 3rd and about 6 yards. Moore back to pass. Quick set, throws out, and it is dropped by Griffin. Griffin in the flat had it right in his chest and dropped it, and that will mean that Rochester will have to punt.
And what happens there is that you're not used to catching the ball. He took his eyes off of it. He knew he needed to make the first down for about 7 yards, and he just took his eyes off it for a split second.
And that's a good throw by Moore.
Right in his hands.
And Egan is going to find himself in a tough situation, having to drop Griffin in his tracks. Now Moy back to punt. Oh, he booms it.
Beautiful punt.
McPhillamy grabs it. Not much in the way of blocking. He's able to return it for about 10 yards or so out to the 33-yard line. And brought down there by Chad Whitaker.
And Monaca's offense is not suited to do what we're getting ourselves into right now, is to go the length of the field or 60, 65 yards, sustained drive of 15, 16 plays to push it in here. The time is now just 2:48 into the 3rd quarter, and this is a very critical play or critical series right here for Monaca.
You talk about not much margin for error, and we saw in the last drive marching the ball, and then an illegal motion penalty really cost him.
Exactly.
And it's Kevin Miller, second back through, picks up about 2.5 yards or so. When you're going to run the football, it is very difficult to get those big chunks of yardage back, and we saw they weren't able to do it via the pass. Tomorrow we're bringing the tailgate party to you with the NFL This Morning on Fox Sports Net, the most raucous Sunday morning pregame show anywhere. This week, Chris Myers, Jay Moore, and the rest of the Breakfast Bunch discussed if Ray Lewis is the best player in the NFL. Jackie Slater gives the Chargers the game plan to beat the Chiefs, and a live interview with Vikings coach Dennis Green. NFL This Morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, only on Fox Sports Net. Now McPhillamy trying to pick his way for some yardage. Oh, it could have been a disaster. It winds up being a gain of about 3 yards or so, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 4.
Well, they're trying to run that quick pitch into the short side of the field here, and your space is limited, and the speed that Rochester had used the sideline to be one of their players and turned them back in.
That's a nice job by McPhillamy avoiding that tackle and getting some positive yards.
And Monaca's in a situation where it's 3rd and 5. They don't want to be in that particular kind of field position. They'd rather have it 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. 3 receivers to the left.
And it's a quick pitch to McPhillamy. McPhillamy trying to get outside, looking for a block, and drives through his man.
It up.
Oh, my goodness.
That was absolutely beautiful determination.
He took Mike Boyd. Boyd hit him at about the 40-yard line. He took Boyd and drove him 4 yards back, but we have a holding on Monaca. So this great effort by McPhillamy goes for naught. Oh, man, that is determination.
Notice how when he runs, Rob, he never gives anybody a shot at his legs. His center of gravity is always low. His shoulder pads are what they're making contact with first. His legs keep driving. His head is up, and he's always good for that 3-4 yards extra after he gets hit.
So it's going to be a holding penalty. That's going to bring it all the way back to the 26-yard line, and it's going to set up a 3rd and 17.
Can't grab the jersey.
He talked about how 3rd and 5 wasn't what they wanted. This is certainly not what they want.
Absolutely not. A screen pass would be better than throwing the ball downfield. It's a lot safer. You don't have to throw the ball and hope that Rochester's athletic ability is going to react to it just like your receivers are. So a screen would be really great here.
I wondered if they had a halfback option pass. Instead they go for the draw, about the same effect as the screen. McPhillamy limps forward for about 3 yards, 3-4 yards. And it is going to bring up 4th and 12. And Nick Manarino made the stop there for Rochester, who's going to get the ball back.
Well, field position is going to turn drastically in Rochester's favor right now. And this next series defensively for Monaca, I said the offensive series is going to be critical. The defensive series for Monaca is really going to be critical.
Moy back to receive the punt from Schultz.
Beautiful.
Schultz just
beautiful kick.
Well, so much for the field position maybe, huh? And it rolls inside the 15-yard line.
Where has he been all along?
What a kick.
That was excellent.
55-yard punt. And a beauty pins Rochester deep in their own territory inside the 15-yard line as the third quarter comes to a close. If there's going to be any wind, it's going to be in the face of Rochester. So a huge special teams play by Monaca. We'll see if they can capitalize as we enter the fourth quarter. Rochester leading 13-6.
The U.S. Department of Energy is predicting that this could be the most expensive winter for heating bills in 15 years. Hi, I'm Ron Orty from Traco. We understand how skyrocketing fuel costs can impact you, especially when you have old drafty windows in your home. That's why Traco has designed the Protection Plus window system, the window that protects you from the high cost of fuel bills. It's not too late to fight back. Call your local Traco dealer now and learn more about this exciting energy-saving offer.
Hi, my name is Joe Androstic, sales manager at Sendle Motors, Route 30 East in Greensburg. Volkswagen is one of the most popular cars on the road today. They're exciting, they're affordable, and they're just plain fun to drive. And as always here at Sendle Motors, you receive your best bottom line price and exceptional customer service before, during, and after the sale. So stop by for your test drive today. And remember, if you buy a Volkswagen someplace else, you'll pay more money. And on the road of life, there are passengers and drivers. Drivers wanted.
Your business can look better and run much more smoothly than it does right now. How? Because there's a better way to buy office furniture. We've opened a state-of-the-art showroom called Workplace Furnishings by Mount Lebanon Office Equipment, featuring the absolute best values in office furniture from Hahn and other fine brands at our famous low discount prices. Come in, look around, and get some ideas. Our interior design professionals will be glad to do a 3D drawing of your office space. It's new, it's exciting, it's Workplace Furnishings by Mount Lebanon Office Equipment, Banksville Road.
The New York Times says NFL This Morning is a 2-hour calamity. They say hope for continued sanity at NFL This Morning has ended, and that the cast would belch their way through their college fight songs if given the green light.
Sounds good to me.
We may not have the same taste as the New York Times, but we sure know how to have fun.
You don't have the remote, baby. NFL This Morning.
NFL This Morning, tomorrow on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back to Three River Stadium. We were talking about Rochester getting the ball maybe around midfield, maybe around the 50-yard line, and instead Schultz with a tremendous kick, and Rochester takes over at their own 14-yard line instead. Quick handoff and pickup of about 4.5 yards for Javon Bradley, brought down by Ricky Schultz.
Well, Ricky Schultz could end up being the hero of this game, even though it's a incidental kind of thing and nobody thinks about punting and the special teams, and you hear coaches talking about special teams all the time. He has not punted before in this game, and all of a sudden he comes out and kicks a 55-yarder and puts them on the 15-yard line.
Monaca has had the ball more than twice as long as Rochester. But it's not always how long you have the ball, it's what you do with it. And there's a bar. Talk about penalties. And these two teams, extremely disciplined. We've seen very few penalties in the game. But that is going to be tough. Tyler Palm moved early, the tight end on the right side. And so that is going to bring up a 2nd and about 10. We saw the statistics. Just about a wash as far as yardage is concerned. Monaca's had the ball longer. Really basically about what we expected.
Exactly what we expected.
2nd and 10. Full house backfield. Give to Moy. 3rd back through. He is wrapped up and brought down at the 16-yard line. And now this brings up the 3rd and 8. You have a team that is not necessarily all that comfortable with running the football, as Craig Bloom was in on that stop. Do you try to throw the ball here? Do you run it, kick it away, and hope your defense can hold?
Well, Rochester's not the same kind of team because of the speed that they have. If they get somebody in a crack, they can go ahead and pick this up. But on the other hand, personally, I would not throw the ball in this situation.
And some trouble working their substitutions, and in fact, it's going to cause them to have to call a timeout. Gene Metzuk not happy with the substitution pattern on that play. We saw guys running in and out of the huddle, and so he's going to call a timeout. We are as well. We'll be back with more from the WPIAL Class 8 Championship in Three River Stadium right after this.
A quality education that's close to home. Over 40 majors in bachelor's and master's degrees for traditional and adult students. A caring faculty teaching in a Christian perspective. If that's what you're looking for, then you're looking for Geneva College. For over 150 years, Geneva has been providing higher learning with a higher purpose. To find out more about what a Geneva education can mean for you, call 724-846-5100 or visit their website at www.geneva.edu. Geneva College, bringing faith to life.
Saturday for 9 hours only. The free used car and truck, $98 down, $98 a month for half a year. For used car, truck, minivan, and sport utility price slash. Ford, Chevys, Buicks, Toyotas, Hondas, and more. With $98 down, $98 a month for the first 6 months. To avoid disruption to other dealers, prices cannot be advertised, but every sell-off price posted. This Saturday for 9 hours only at Century 3 Chevrolet.
Century 3 Chevrolet, loving church for Pittsburgh. Minutes from the mall.
It is raining at Three River Stadium as Rochester leads Monaca 13-6, and we have a crucial 3rd and 8. And it is deep in Rochester's own territory. A couple guys split out. Moy only has Javon Bradley in the backfield. Moy in motion now. More hands off to Bradley. No, he fakes it, and in fact, he is going to be sacked. Well, that was fooled on the play-action pass. But David McLaughlin was not, and he wraps up Moore for a loss all the way back to the 8-yard line.
And once again, it goes back to the punt. The punt put him in this position. The defense rallied to the occasion, and Rick Schultz could turn out to be the star of this game just on that 55-yard punt.
Boom, McLaughlin, Schuster, all of them swarming in there. And now Moy will have to punt.
Uh-oh.
Oh, high snap, and he's able to drag it down and boot it away. Schultz giving chase at midfield. Still chasing after it. Still can't get a hold of it. Finally does and just elects to fall on it. So Moy answers Schultz's big kick with a 42-yarder of his own to get them out of the shadow of their own end zone.
Absolutely a big kick right there. And thinking the fact that he kicked it from the end zone, that ball traveled 55 yards, and Schultz did not field the ball cleanly, and he just ended up, rather than take a chance of losing it, he just fell on it. And Monaca's back in the same position that they've always been back in. They're consistently right around the 30, 38, 40-yard line. They've gained 5 yards on that turn of kicks.
So from their own 45-yard line, power eye to the right. First back through is McPhillamy. McPhillamy picks up about 3.5 yards or so.
The other thing that's happening here is in the back of the coach's mind is that they're not a passing team to start with, neither one of them. And the weather conditions now are going back, so they can't pass in good times. They surely don't want to put the game and the balance of the game and the WPIAL championship on the hands of a quarterback not accustomed to throwing first of all, and then in bad weather second of all.
Power eye to the right side again. Second back through is McPhillamy. McPhillamy trying to bounce outside. Nate Waldron, the freshman, is there to make a stop. Got some help from Javon Bradley. No gain on the play, and it's going to bring up third and a long 6.
And this is going to be decision time for Coach Lyons. And when you look at the stats throughout the course of the entire season, they're 10-1, and their leading receiver only has 10 catches for 160 yards, and Matt has not thrown a touchdown pass in those 11 games.
We've got 2 receivers split out to the right side. It's the Bloom brothers, Keith and Craig. And Harley's going to call a timeout. Didn't like what he saw there. And so they're going to think this thing over. Clearly, if they're going back to pass here, they are not thinking of this yet with 8:24 left in the game as 4-down territory. Let's head down to the playing surface where Bill Osborne is standing by. Bill?
Bob, actually, I'm not on the playing surface.
Oh.
You know, I may have been hit a couple times, but I'm not dumb. It's starting to rain out there, and we have seeked some shelter underneath the cover of Three River Stadium and the Monaca sideline. And let me tell you something. They're down right now, but they know this is a big series. These people are fired up here at Monaca. And these are the smart Monaca fans because they're undercover with me. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Bill. Oh, Bill could have brought an umbrella.
Rob, notice the fact that not only are the kids hard-nosed, and you always hear the fact that it never rains on a golf course. Well, in Monaca and Rochester, even though it's raining, there's only about 2 or 3 umbrellas up, so the hard-nosedness comes, it's bred right into the kids. These people are not even thinking about putting umbrellas up on this day.
Yeah, it's just passed down. The tough survive out there. Bill Osborne ran for cover.
Well, what's that say about Bill?
I'm not saying anything. I'm just telling you what happened. I just report the facts. It's up to you to tell me what happened. Now they come back with a running formation, and McPhillamy gets the ball driving forward, and he's going to be about 1.5 yards short.
And he really got a good spot because the official that's marking it is going to give him a ball. I wouldn't think it's almost 1 yard or less than 1 yard.
Wow, and it's clear. We said because of the formation we saw last time that it was not 4-down territory, that they were not going to be thinking 2 runs on 3rd down. Instead, that looks like exactly what they're going to do. They came back out with a running formation, gave it to McPhillamy, and now 4th and 1.5 yards from the 46-yard line of Rochester.
Big play. This could be the game.
7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining on the clock, and Harley is going to call another timeout. Well, they've only got 1 timeout now remaining.
And that's quite.
So we're going to take a break right now as Harley, the Monaca Indians, and Coach Mark Lyons think things over. We'll be back with more right after this.
You call the competition and you ask them. Say, excuse me, this $40 tire, what are all the add-ons going to be? Because my friends at the tire factory, Flynn GW Tire Company, tell me their price is a total price, and you don't give me that over the phone. I need a total price so I can really do comparative shopping. They can't give you the entire price over the phone. It's like pulling teeth. Let me give you the total entire price. Not like our competition.
Pride. It's about dedication and commitment and believing in what you do. At Summit Academy, we believe in our mission of shaping bright young students into successful young men, and we are currently looking for qualified individuals who share our dedication and commitment. If you're interested in a rewarding career you can take pride in, contact the Human Resource Department at 412-885-5200. Summit Academy, where pride still matters.
Coming up tonight, it's the 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report. 30 minutes of nightly sports news completely dedicated to Pittsburgh's home teams, and I don't think he made the first down. He did not make the first down. And this is going to go back over to Rochester.
That was a critical decision that Coach Lyons made right there. And as we were talking before, personally, I would have not made that decision. I would have punted the ball away, pushed Rochester back, make them go the length of the field, hope that there's going to be a turnover. There's only 7:30 left in the game. It's raining. That decision right there could have been the game.
Even if they get it back, they're probably going to have to drive the length of the field with an offense that doesn't like to throw the ball.
Well, what Monaca has to hope for right now is a turnover.
There's Moy slamming over the right side, picks up about 4.5 yards. Well, you can get extended regional highlights and in-depth interviews. Catch the 11 p.m. Regional Sports Report Pittsburgh edition tonight only on Fox Sports Net. Stephanie Gavis, Dan Potash, who's both those guys going to be helping us out throughout the remainder of the day. We'll be bringing you all of the news you care about, dedicated to Pittsburgh home teams, and you can bet your bottom dollar you'll see plenty on this game and all of the rest of the games throughout the day coming at you from Three River Stadium. Saw a shot of Mark Lyons, and now it looks like some movement along Rochester's line is going to back them up 5 yards.
Yes, it is. And as Gary pointed out once again, and it was a very good point taken, is that not only did Monaca make that first down, they called timeout to do it.
Right.
And the other thing that's going to be very critical here is that if Rochester makes this first down, that'll put the ball probably on about the 45-yard line. They're going to be in 4-down territory from that point on. So the decision is going to loom big in the outcome of this game.
Against Canavan, 13-play, 69-yard drive in 3 minutes and 31 seconds of the fourth quarter. So they've been here before, but again, it is going to be a very, very difficult task, and a nice job by Big Tony Kaminsky. The larger of the Kaminsky twins got some help from Keith Bloom. And a pair of the twins, one half of each twin connection.
And he is an outstanding football player. I mean, he has his feet squared, his shoulders are squared, his head is up, and he met him in the right at the line of scrimmage and drove him back.
3rd and 10 situation as we get down to 6 minutes remaining in the game. Well, at least in regulation, we should say. Last time these two teams met in the WPIAL Class A Finals in 1998, it went to overtime. Draw play. And Griffin battling forward, banging ahead, but he's going to come up short of the first down by about 3 yards or so. Bill?
You know, Monaca's defense is known for being really, really tough, especially in the fourth quarter. This season alone, they've only given up 21 total points. They're going to need a big stop here to get the ball back to give them any chance of winning the football game.
And they have come up with that stop, barring some sort of fake. Moy back to punt. And he lets it go, and running up to make the grab on the punt is McPhillamy, battling forward to about the 31-yard line. Wow. How similar is this? Against Canavan, it was 18-18. They marched 69 yards for the go-ahead touchdown drive. Now they need to go 69 yards against Rochester. They've got a little more time on the clock to deal with in order to try to tie this game and send it into overtime.
And I think the difference is going to be is what's going to happen on 1st and 2nd down is going to dictate what's going to happen for the length of that drive.
Harley up to the line of scrimmage, man in the slot, I formation, and the fake and the reverse, and nothing doing as Kevin Miller is just shut down. Jermaine Moy, Vince Moakley in on that stop, and Miller is slow in getting up.
And I think what happens here, Rob, is that obviously going into the game, we all knew, and I think the coaching staffs knew, that Rochester had the speed, and you can't beat speed by trying to beat them on the perimeters. If you're going to beat speed, you got to run right at them and burst through the speed and then get into the secondary and power your way through rather than try to outquick them.
Well, we've talked a little bit about how the speed of Rochester's worked a little bit against them on McPhillamy's cutbacks. I think they were trying to get him to flow one way, try to get that speed against him and run the reverse. But that's also a nice job, and you got to give credit to Coach Matzuk and his staff were the kids were disciplined. They stayed at home on that reverse, and they didn't buy it at all.
You're absolutely right.
Going to be 2nd and 11 yards. And this is a big, big play. They need some sort of positive yards so they're not forced into a passing situation. McPhillamy, the second back through, picking for a hole, bouncing off one tackler. Moy meets him again, and McPhillamy finally dragged down. Horton was in there, Griffin was in there, Moy was in there, and Boyd was in there. Other guys were in there, and finally they drove him back as he picked up just a couple. Boy, McPhillamy is just running hard.
Yes, he is extremely hard runner. And what happens there is notice who is tackling. All of the skill kids, all of the speed kids are surrounding them there.
They're like a wolf pack right now. They smell the football, and you look at the third down conversion, 6 of 12 so far for Monaca. 3rd and 9, and the pitch out to McPhillamy, eludes one tackler, cuts back inside, and picks up about 4 yards, and that is going to bring up 4th and 5 with 3:55 remaining in the game, and a critical play. And it's almost clear now against Canevin on one of these drives. They did give the ball to McPhillamy in a similar situation. Now they were deeper in to Canevin territory, so they knew if they didn't get the first down, they at least were going to be putting Canevin in a tough spot. But this is, you've almost got to throw it here instead of trying to give it to McPhillamy, don't you? Fake, quick pass over the middle, and they're going to get the first down.
Well, just like Gary just passed me a little note again, I mean, this is exactly right. The running clock is against a running team. And when you put yourself in a position, not only is it running the clock, you're only talking about 3:19 left. So that was a big play. And these last 3 minutes and 19 seconds to go 55 yards is really going to be a lot of pressure on Monaca.
Clutch throw by Harley, clutch catch by C.J. Corkin. And it's a first down. Lone setback is McPhillamy. Gets the ball, picks up another 5 yards. He's up 2nd and 5. And remember, the clock stops in high school football on first downs. They have 1 timeout remaining. And there's enough time here because they get in and out of the huddle pretty quickly. And you can see Harley sprinting back in after getting the play call from Coach Lyons. There's enough time, I think, to get this done. There's not going to be any left to spare, I wouldn't imagine.
Well, that's good in Monaca's favor because if there's not much time, then you don't give those quick kids a chance to break one deep.
Oh, McPhillamy is he just refuses to go down. If he hadn't run into his own man, David McLaughlin, he might still be running. And we're going to bring up a 3rd and 3. Boy, really a nice job by Monaca getting in and out of this huddle. They're ripping off about 3 plays per minute. Question is that going to be enough? And McPhillamy this time is brought down short of a first down. We're going to have another 4th down situation.
Yeah, he's locked into this one now.
And referee calling for a timeout. He wants to measure it. Well, I can tell you right now, it's going to be short by about
a nose hair.
Yeah, 4 or 5 inches. A large nose hair.
Talking about mine.
I wouldn't give you the one that said it. All right, let's see what kind of, that's 6, 8 inches.
Well, we're not going to go as far as to say my nose is 6 to 8 inches. This is going to be.
I'm sure you just take one look at me. I'm not one to talk. All right, so it's 4th and about 6 inches. Monaca is 1 for 3 on 4th down. Of course, the big one came just moments ago to keep this final drive alive for the Indians.
They're coming left.
Quick pitch.
Uh-oh.
McPhillamy's got it, and he's drilled down after he picks up 5 yards. Jermaine Moy came over from the safety position to make the stop.
Real gutsy call right there. Rather than try to get to 8 inches going off tackle or up the middle, they did the quick pitch to the boundary side, and McPhillamy's feet just put him right into position to pick up the first down.
And boy, if Moy doesn't come over to make that tackle as Harley spikes the ball down with 1:38 remaining, Moy doesn't come over to make that tackle, and McPhillamy still running.
Yeah, it did look like he was going to get a lot more yards out of it than what he ended up getting.
Good physical tackle by Moy. And now it looks like we're going to see Monaca in a situation where they're going to have to throw the football. And let's go down to Bill Osborne now with more. Bill?
Hi, Rob. Again, it is raining slightly down here, and you guys called it correctly. 1 minute and 38 seconds to go before the end of the game. Monaca definitely has to go to their 2-minute drill. They can't keep running the ball up the middle or running to the outside. They do have a timeout left. Pretty soon, sooner or later, they got to throw the ball down the field. And if you're Rochester right now, you want to try and force everything inside, keep them in bounds to keep the clock running. But one thing is certain, it is raining down here, and the ball still is wet.
All right, thank you very much, Bill. And this time you can see how comfortable the teams are not only with throwing the ball, but with defending the pass. Coach Matzuk has called a timeout defensively for Rochester to try to set up what they want to do when it looks pretty obvious that Monaca's going to have to throw the ball here. So.
Well, I think what he's going to do is he's going to do exactly what Bill just suggested he was going to do. He's going to tell them what their options are, what they're trying to accomplish, keep the people in bounds, keep them forced into the middle of the field, and don't let a big one run by.
Now, Monaca has been able to march the ball a little bit, but you have to give Rochester some credit defensively on this drive. 9 plays it has taken the Indians to get 28 yards, and they've had to chew up 3 minutes and 39 seconds of game clock. Coach Lyons looking on. Slight rain, as we mentioned. Wind should not be a factor. Harley back to pass. Looking, and throws too high for his intended receiver, Anthony Analine. Good coverage out on the corner there. Horton was out there. Got some help defensively by Nate Walden as well.
Yes, and you saw 3 people in that zone, and he had to get that ball right in through all of that, and it's really difficult. If you're not used to throwing, the pressure becomes something that you know you have to make it, and he's not accustomed to doing that.
And also, with just one man out in the pattern.
Absolutely.
3rd and 10, play action fake, and that pass was deflected. Tried to go for his tight end, Craig Bloom, over the middle, and now this is going to bring a 4th and 10 situation as Javon Bradley was able to deflect that ball away. 4th and 10, Rams smelling victory. Take a look at it again. Nice job by Bradley.
He's played an outstanding game. And they, I know they're starting to celebrate, and they want the fans to get in this, but they got one more play that they have to pull off here. And,
able to sit back in the zone, and this one is intercepted. Picked off, and that is going to seal the game.
Yeah, just a little bit too long of getting rid of the ball here. He was sitting there for about 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and it give the defensive back a chance to react to the ball, and closed on him and stepped right in front for the interception.
Antoine Horton was the one who did it. You see Harley going back. He needed 10 yards, so he had to have a deep pattern. And I'm not sure what we've got there. I didn't hear the official's call. Horton steps in front. Analine didn't do Harley any favors either there.
Just squatting down in and waiting for the ball. You had to react back to it.
That's right. You've got to feel the defender on you. Of course, in defense of him, he didn't want to move off that marker either because he knew he had to get 10 yards.
You're absolutely right. He was caught in between there. And now it just comes down to Rochester doing what they can do very well. They get 1 first down and the game is over.
I think if they kneel on it 3 times, the game might be over.
How many timeouts does Monaca have left?
They got 1 timeout left. Matter of how quickly they'll come up and spot the ball, but I would imagine they could probably just kneel on this thing and call it a game. We'll see if that's what they do or whether they try to run the ball. Moore comes up to the line of scrimmage. Boy, gives it off to Griffin, and man, oh man,
you see
big penetration.
You see the surge of that defensive line, and Rochester was very fortunate for Adam to get the handoff.
That's incredible because it was so quick. You're right that could have been the fumble they were looking for. Instead, they call a timeout, and 1:05 remains, 2nd and 7. And I think we're in a situation now where Rochester can just kneel on the ball.
Yes. And once again, we're always put in a situation here where there are no losers on this field today. I mean, to have a 10-1 record and a 9-2 record and to come back out here and play for the championship team, there are no losers on that field. And you young kids that are sitting there watching this game, all you have to do is pick out a couple of heroes down there. It's obvious that if you want to pattern yourself after being an athlete and being out there with great attitude and great commitment, just look at these two teams, pick out a person, and say, I want to be like him.
The longer a season goes, I think the more difficult it is to lose. And I think this is clearly going to be a difficult defeat for the Monaca Indians. And yet, what you say is absolutely right. When you start the season, there's not a kid in the WPIAL who isn't saying to himself, I want to play at Three River Stadium. You're looking at two teams who have fulfilled that dream. Only one of them is going to be able to walk off the field as the WPIAL champions. Now, hang on a second. Let's not get too antsy here. Well, that was
frustration.
Yeah, I would like to think, now they're going to call a personal foul. I was going to say we'd like to think that was a case of trying to judge the snap count, but maybe just a little bit of frustration there as well, bubbling to the surface for Josh Antonopoulos.
First down! I think what also happens is that Monaca accepting the defeat. They've been here three times, and three times it's ended up the same way. And that frustration is mounting on their side more so than on Rochester's side.
And we can see the Gatorade being prepared. Vince Moakley and Andre Haney are the ones who are going to do the duty on Coach Matsuk. Moore will take the snap and just kneel down. And there is nothing that the Monaca Indians and Mark Lyons can do. Coach Matsuk, I don't know if he's stepping out on the field. He might be trying to avoid the Gatorade. But is now about 10 feet behind him.
Well, they have 45 seconds to kneel on the ball, and he just wants to make sure that they're calm enough to get that taken care of and not do anything to put themselves in a position where they can lose this game.
This will probably be the last play of the game. Moore takes a snap, kneels down. Coach Matsuk, in his first year, 14 years, the offensive coordinator under his brother Gene, or under his brother Dan, I should say. Gene wasn't sure if he was going to take the job. He did, and there's a lot of folks very happy at Rochester that he did. Getting some hugs.
Celebration's taking place right now.
他已经做好了准备活动，两个眼睛紧紧地盯着这棵树，他正在做着准备活动。他先向以前的长者行着礼啊，两位勇士还在继续发着梦。
Man, I can't wait for this week's game.
Yeah, that Cowboys-Eagles game is going to be awesome.
Whoa! Somebody's been pumping iron! That's right, and things are gonna be different.
Don't miss the wildest hour of pregame coverage in the business, featuring Julian Barbary's forecast and Jimmy Kimmel's upset special on America's most animated pregame show. Don't miss the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show this week on your local Fox station. Want heart-pounding highlights? Then you gotta see this. It's death-defying, car-crashing, fist-flying action. Video that'll blow you away. Think you've seen it all? You gotta see this. Sunday at 6 on Fox Sports Net.
You gotta concern yourself with where you're going. I'm not looking to please individuals. I'm looking to win football games. You take football out of Pittsburgh and something wouldn't seem right.
Get it straight from the coach. The Bill Cowher press conference live Tuesdays at noon on Fox Sports Net.
The New York Times says NFL This Morning is a 2-hour calamity. They say hope for continued sanity at NFL This Morning has ended, and that the cast
would belch their way through their college fight songs if given the green light.
Sounds good to me.
We may not have the same taste as the New York Times, but we sure know how to have fun.
You don't have the remote, baby! NFL this morning!
NFL This Morning, tomorrow on Fox Sports Net.
Well, welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium as Fox Sports Net's coverage continues of the WPIAL Championships here at Three Rivers Stadium. Okay, one game is in the books. Of course, Rochester winning over Monaca by a score of 13-6, taking that game earlier. The Class 2A game is on tap between Aliquippa and Waynesburg. Of course, a lot of good teams, a lot of good players in the WPIAL this year. It was kind of hard to find the best of the best, but with a little help of some of the coaches, we'll take a look at the best players in the WPIAL on offense this year. This year, the talent ran deep in the WPIAL, so determining the Fox Sports Net all-area team was a little like deciphering a hand ballot. Not very easy. So with the help of various coaches, we present the 2000 all-area team. We start with the quarterbacks, and there were many that made a huge impact this season. This statement defiantly rings true for McKeesport quarterback Cecil Howard. He led the Tigers to the WPIAL quarterfinals this year and the WPIAL championship last season. Considered by many to be the best running quarterback in the country, Howard committed to Syracuse before the season. He finished with 1,383 yards rushing and 302 yards passing. This season also featured a record breaker in Seton LaSalle quarterback Bruce Bradkowski. The Polish Rifles set a new WPIAL mark by passing for an amazing 2,978 yards in 10 games. He also threw for 30 touchdowns to only 5 INTs. He showed that he had some wheels, and the Rebels lost to North Catholic in the playoffs as he ran for close to 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. He has not decided on a college as of yet. On to the running backs, who are led by Bell Vernon senior Nick Kalsovic. He used deceptive speed and strength to amass 4,343 yards in his career, 18th best in WPIAL history. Slowed by a bruised leg sustained in their opening round defeat to Pine Richland, Kalsovic battled through the injury to have a huge impact in his last 2 high school games. He finished this season with 1,967 yards and 27 touchdowns. Diminutive in stature, center running back John Sims put up some pretty huge numbers this season as he led the Trojans to the AA semifinals. Sims ended up with 1,822 yards and 27 touchdowns. A common cliche, especially this time of year, is that big players make big plays. That certainly is true of Canavan's Chris Fender. With his team in a defensive struggle against South Fayette in the opening round of the playoffs, Fender eventually wore down South Fayette and broke a 30-yard run that led to the winning score. Fender rushed for 1,806 yards and 19 touchdowns his senior year. Our last running back has been a vital component in leading Mount Lebanon to the Quad A final. Teams were so worried about his quickness, a rumor circulated that an opponent watered down their field to contain him. Sam Matthews currently has led the Blue Devils with 1,284 yards and 22 touchdowns. Running backs and quarterbacks have no success without the help of their offensive line. Our line is anchored by one of the best in the country and 6'5", 300-pound tackle Tyler Reed of Thomas Jefferson. One of the most sought-after players in Pennsylvania, Reed has yet to decide where he will start next season, although he has narrowed his choices to Pitt, Penn State, Michigan, Michigan State, and Tennessee. He was a 4-year starter for Coach Bill Cherpak. And here are the rest of the linemen. Brian Johnson, a stocky 5'11", 265-pound senior from Woodland Hills. He anchored one of the most explosive offensive lines in the WPIAL. Chris Haffey, a 6'4" tackle from Mount Lebanon. He opened holes for running back Sam Matthews and is headed to Boston College next season. Mark Ferris, a huge tackle from North Hills, is listed at 6'6", 275 pounds. From Class AA semifinalist is Colin Miles, a 6'1", 280-pound guard. And our tight end is future Pitt Panther, 6'6", 240-pound Eric Gill from Bell Vernon. That'll do it for the offensive side of the ball. Stay tuned for the next intermission when we will announce our defensive standouts.
आदाबस विक्रम शो से हम आपका स्वागत करते हैं। दो खिलाड़ियों का नाम अरुण दासी और भारत है, मगर ये देखो क्या हो रहा है। दोनों खिलाड़ी अब तैयार हैं, वो एक दूसरे के पास
fights on Fox Sports Net. Witness the return of the American Dream, David Reed. Pound for pound, one of the best fighters of the world. Boxing fury from a ringside seat. David Reed, Carino Garcia. Sunday Night Fights on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium, where one game is in the books as the Rochester Rams took care of Monaca 13-6 in the Battle of the Bridge. Let's take out the highlights if you did not catch the game live. First quarter, first play from scrimmage, Kirby Griffin going 55 yards for the Rams to give them an early 7-0 lead, and they would set the tempo. Moving to the second quarter, Rochester would get on the board. Kevin Miller, 3-yard run, capping a 13-play drive. PAT no good, so it's 7-6 Rams. Late second quarter, Javon Bradley, 45-yard scamper on a 2nd and 8, makes it 13-6 Rams at the break. In the second half, not much scoring, in fact, none at all. Last chance for Monaca, but it's picked off by Antonio Horton. The INT is the beginning of the end for the Indians as Rochester goes on to win the Class A title. Team Magic getting the frozen Gatorade over his head. Let's check out the stats from game number 1. Lots of running in this one. Of course, the first half only took about 51 minutes. First downs going to Monaca, 11-6. Of course, Rochester getting all the offense they really needed on that first play of scrimmage on Griffin's 55-yard touchdown run. Rushing yards, once again, pretty high across the board, 168, 137. These teams really keyed on running all season long, and that's what they did today in the championship game. Passing yards, really not much to speak of, just 19 for the Rams and 40 for, 19 for the Indians and 40 for the Rams. Total yards, just under 200 for both teams. Turnovers, only 1. Pretty dry first half, a little wet there in the second half. The overall time of possession doubled up there by Monaca, 30 minutes to just under 18 for Rochester. Of course, game number 2 is just the second of our 4 games. All 4 games will come to you live here on Fox Sports Net. The second one should be a good one. The first time ever that 2 undefeated teams will meet for the WPIAL Championship. The Aliquippa Quips looking for their 10th WPIAL title, while the Waynesburg Central Raiders are looking for their first title since 1996. We'll have more from Three Rivers Stadium as our continuing coverage continues of the WPIAL Championships right after this.